Alright, let me make sure I get it set up right.
I put in the chat BRB.
Yep, broadcast party chat. You're probably still coming through just fine on your end. Alright.
Yeah, this way we'll just be able to, you'll be able to upload a Battle for an Oath of the Gatewatch and a Shadows video.
Yep, awesome how that works out.
It's worse today because of the stuff he has to say.
Yeah, but you're doing good work.
My job? Who wanted it?
Who doesn't?
Everyone's like, kick him from the party and invite me.
Nah, I think they just want to get on and chat. Because I really do think this is awesome. I think it's like the next thing in Twitch is like group chats. Instead of one person like just trying to fill space, you can have teamwork. Speaking of that, do you want to read the cards this time? Are you good with that? Is your voice doing okay?
I don't care. If you want to do it, that's fine.
I don't want to be honest. I'd rather, I'm on the sticks, as WMG would say. I'm like playing over here, so it would kind of be awkward for me. So okay. I don't want to. If you're good, you're good, but I don't want to, you know, if you're losing your voice, I'll tag in. I'll get the hot tag. I'll grab the Mario star, and we'll run with it. But you just let me know.
Are you online yet?
Yeah, we're up. We got 37 people back in the house.
Alright, let me just make sure I have to restart my Twitch, or have to restart Twitch, the app, so I can watch the flow of comments.
Gotcha. And, you know, we'll launch back in when you're ready. Welcome back, Scoutmaster from Mega Beast. Yep, I'll probably never live that one down, thanks to Mobius. It's gonna... once upon the... like my nickname, Scoutmaster. Because yeah. I'm a good boy. I get, you know, I try to get along with people, so that's what I get. Somebody wishes we got Prodder. I can't place that one off the top of my head. Maybe you can.
Prodder was Prodder is what Reddit deemed Rob, the Red Bob.
Oh, now I know who you mean.
3 mana, 3/2 menace. At the beginning of your upkeep, you reveal the top card of your library. Your opponent can take the converted mana cost worth of the card in damage, or you draw it. The card's bad because it's a Punisher mechanic. Anytime you give your opponent the decision to make a choice, you normally don't want to play that card.
Yeah, not that. It's okay.
Card's
not that good.
Card's pretty bad. Alright, well, first card, Always Watching. It is a white card. It is white, 1 generic mana, enchantment rare. Non-token, fuck. Creatures you control get +1/+1 and vigilance.
We just trolled Peepy. Non-token. Yeah, this card is pretty, I think this card is going to make the white decks a lot better than the white decks were. They really lacked anything useful to do after turn 2, but before turn 4 with Gideon and 5 with anything else. So now they can do something. So I'm into this card. The blue-white deck is probably going to like this too. I think it does a lot. What do you think?
This card is the real deal. When I was talking earlier about the green-white deck that didn't exist because it sucked, this card is what makes it good. Like, this card and you have Nissa that anthems your board. Like, this is like the card for the mono white weenie deck that we always wanted to play but was never good enough. Like, this card is sweet, it's the real deal, it'll see play, it'll make mono white aggro decks viable. The card's very good, and it pairs with a lot of other cards that are also in this set that are also in duels, so it's very interesting, and we'll talk about them when we get to them.
Absolutely. John is throwing down a weird question really quick, and
now
about
that flip cards are more prevalent, do you guys feel newer players will get a wake-up call in responding to triggers?
What do you think? Yeah. No. No. Just no, dude. Moving on.
Yeah. Anyway, Angelic Purge, aka better than Angelic whatever the hell we had. 2 and a white, sorcery, common as an additional cost to casting Angelic Purge. Sacrifice a permanent. Exile target artifact, creature, or enchantment. What do you think?
So, first of all, I don't think, much like Bone Splinters, like, this is not a 4 of. Like, I think if you're just tossing 4 into your deck, even if you try to build for it, I don't think this is a 4 of. But that said, this is a card that you can put in almost any deck that uses white. It's only 1 white, so it's very splashable. And you can put it in there, and now you have an option, a way to deal with an enchantment or artifact or a creature. And that means you don't have to concern yourself with cards like Felidar Cub, Reclamation Sage, unless Sage is still okay, but particularly like Cub and Solemn Offering are cards I sometimes got really stuck with because I had to have some solution to those enchantment decks. Now you don't have to. You can almost always find something to sacrifice. This isn't something you want to use on turn 3. You want to use this later, as late in the game as possible, so that you're making an educated sacrifice decision and not losing tempo using it. But I think it's still got a lot of play in Duels. That's my take on it.
I would like to pause and tell Mega Beast he is wrong. He says there is no card that will make mono white aggro legit. I think Always Watching is in the perfect direction to making it a good deck. I think it's a specific strategy. There's another card that we will get to in a minute that is absurd in the mono white deck. It's just unfortunate that there's a common that I was wanting so bad that they didn't give it to us, and I'll mention to it when we get to the end of white cards. I personally think Angelic Purge is very good. You can sacrifice permanents, so you can sacrifice like anything that is irrelevant. You can sacrifice tokens, you can sacrifice lands, you can sacrifice clue tokens. So if you have clue tokens, you can sacrifice those clue tokens to blow up a permanent.
Yep.
The coolest thing I saw at the pre-release, is a guy had attacked with his 3/3 flying creature, but he had the Geist of St. Trapped enchantment on it, so he had a 4/4 token, and he attacked with it. And second main phase, he sacks a 4/4 token to kill a creature. It was just oozing with the value. It was so sweet. So sweet.
Yeah, that's pretty
Alright,
juicy.
so- yeah. Apothecary Geist. 4 mana, 2/3 flyer. If you have a spirit, you gain 3 life. Garbage.
Garbage. Next card, garbage. Move on.
Archangel Avacyn. 3 white 4/4 legendary angel mythic flash, and bear with us, flash, flying, vigilance. When it enters the battlefield, creatures you control gain indestructible until end of turn. Then, when a non-angel creature you control dies, transform Avacyn Archangel at the beginning of the next upkeep. So it's important that she doesn't immediately flip, because busted things would happen. When she flips, she turns into Avacyn the something, the Prevailer, and then it's a 6/7 flyer.
6/5.
When it enters the battlefield, or when it flips, with 6/5, and when it flips, it deals 3 damage to each opponent and each creature. Or each player and each creature, right? Or is it each opponent?
Each opponent and each creature.
Each opponent, each creature. So it's a board wipe effect. This card's insane. This card's obviously good. This card is super sweet. It'll see lots of play. If you're playing a white deck and you're not playing this, you're kind of an idiot. I mean, it's just one of those cards. It's like a no-brainer. Why wouldn't you play this? Interesting thing is, and I love this interaction, in Constructed, and this matters for other flip cards. Since this is the first flip card we got to, I'll mention this now. If you have a flip card, and this only matters in this game for rares, commons, and uncommons, because you can't have more than one mythic. If you have a flip card and it's flipped on the other side, you can have that same card, you can play that same card on the battlefield. So say you have, let me find, like the next card we have is, shoot. Let me find, I'm looking for
I think you're corner casing pretty hard though, dude.
So you have, say you play like, it's a 3 mana 2/2 that says when it deals combat damage, you flip it and it becomes a 3/3 unblockable. Say you have the 3/3 unblockable, since it's a different name, you can play another copy of the same card. and they don't kill and if it's legendary they won't kill each other. So
Yep.
it's a fringe thing. It's only for standard, and the sweet interaction is if your Avacyn was gonna flip and deal 3 damage to everything, you can actually flash in another Avacyn, save all your creatures, and they both won't die because they have different names. Just super sweet interaction that is for constructed, but I thought it was food for thought.
Oh, it is. So that card's a mouthful. What it can do is a mouthful. It's an absolutely bonkers card that doesn't have a specific home, but yeah, if you're playing white and not playing it, it's just so above rate. It's so above what we can usually get in duels that there's no reason not to have this if you can afford double white. And this and Gideon, that they're like gonna be the white tag teams of where you're like, well, my opponent turn 4 Gideon, turn 5 Avacyn, so I guess my life was horrible.
Then turn 5 Linvala me.
Yeah, if you want to take it to the
Linvala.
max, right? So yeah, not trash. Definitely a card to play. Definitely an exciting card to be in the set, and something that is actually going to be really hard to deal with. In the way that if your opponent just has 5 mana up, you used to be like, nobody plays Hixus. But now it's like everybody plays Avacyn, but there's only one.
Dear
so how
God.
how do you cope? Do you play around it or do you go for it? Do you play around the one
You know what
of?
the best part is? You know what I'm gonna love is when someone is playing around Avacyn perfectly and the opponent flashes in Hixus. And you're just gonna be like, oh
no, not the Hicks, not the Hicks. yeah, man.
That will be sweet.
Next level.
But anyway, she's really good. My next card is Avacynland Missionaries. 4 mana, 3/3. 3 and a white, creature, human, cleric. At the beginning of your instep, if Avacyn Missionaries is equipped, transform it. And then it's just a bad card. This card is not good.
Now, I don't know, man. This goes right into that Bonesaw theme deck that I know y'all are just revving up to play. I know. I already know. So, if you are just like chomping at the bit to get you some Bonesaw, this is your man, dig it. And that's about all I can say.
And the good thing about Avacyn is like if you want to beat this card, just play Grasp of Darkness.
Cha-ching! Doesn't do much though if it's saving the board wipe.
True. Next card, Bygone Bishop. Oh my God, did the mono white deck need 3-drops?
Yep.
And it got them in the form
Yep.
of Always Watching and Bygone Bishop. Jesus, did it need 3-drops? Bygone Bishop, a 3 mana 2/3 flyer. Whenever you cast a creature spell with converted mana cost 3 or less, you investigate. Investigate is a 2 mana clue that you can sack. Is a clue that you can pay 2 mana, sack it, and draw a card. So it's a flyer that can net card advantage. The card is good. It'll see play in the mono white strategies and the blue white decks. It's a good card. It's just solid.
Yeah, it goes in Spirits, the Spirit theme deck, goes in the Aristocrats, Esper Aristocrats deck, goes in just white aggro, works great with Angelic Purge. Generate that token and then toss it and kill whatever you need to kill. So, yeah, man. All about the Bishop. It's going to be fun in a way that Mentor the Meek often was, but I think it's better because it's a cast trigger that's free.
Mm-hmm. Next card, Champion of Irration, a 4 mana, 3 and a white, lifelink, human warrior, 3/2. Garbage.
Not a good enough rate. Lifelink it would be valuable in a time we have since moved away from.
Dauntless Cathar, 2 and a white for a 3/2 human soldier common. For 2 mana, 1 and a white, you can exile Dauntless Cathar from your graveyard and put a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying onto the battlefield. Activate this ability only when you can cast a sorcery. This card's almost good enough.
It's so close, but I mean, our three spot just got better, but this is a very kind of average effect.
Yeah, in your mono white deck, you're already playing like Always Watching. You're playing Bygone Bishop. You're playing Matter Shaper. So I don't think you care about this card. This card is
No,
almost good enough, though.
I don't think so. And to just go hit on the chat and go back to the last one about lifelink being useless because we got Ollie. If you're playing lifelink to corner case your Ollie Pilgrim ability, let's just say there are a lot of ways for that synergy to be broken up. It doesn't make a bad card, like a really bad rate lifelink card, playable to have a 2 of rare Ollie with an ability that's so conditional. So I don't know if Mega Beast is just being is just trolling me to get a response, but I really can't get behind that one. I'm sorry.
Neither can I. Alright, next card. Declaration in Stone. 1 in a white, sorcery, rare. Exile target creature and all other creatures its controller owns with the same name as that creature. That player investigates for each non-token creature exiled this way. So this card's super good. This will be in the black-white control decks. It's how it answers Ulamog and all the big scary threats after a board wipes. And it also blows up all my goddamn tokens I worked so hard to make.
Oh yeah,
So-
BBB is all over that already. Just wants you to know that that your precious tokens are going to be going to meet a declaration in stone horrible-ific ending.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, this card is awesome. I mean, like,
Yeah, this card's
if
super
you're
sweet.
worried about the card advantage, maybe you don't want to. We only get 2, so it's not even that big of a deal. You still run it in your control deck, but if you run it in some kind of aggro or tempo deck, that's definitely the kind of card that makes mono white aggro not as embarrassing as it would have been not long ago. Yeah, just the ability to sweep whatever you put out there, whatever you put your mana into, out of the way, and hey, you have a useless artifact, and my creatures keep beating down. It's fantastic. This card is definitely another card I think goes right into your deck if you're running white without too much thought.
2 mana, make Peepy redundant.
There you go. Sorry, peeps.
Alright. Emissary of the Sleeplessness. 4 in a white for a 2/4 flyer. When it enters the battlefield, if a creature dies this turn, you get a 1/1 flyer. Bad.
Morbid. Not. Yeah, not where I'm going for 4 mana.
Expose
Not
Evil.
in this format.
Expose Evil. 1 in a white, instant speed. Tap up to 2 target creatures, investigate. Bad.
Bad. Yeah, nope. Might as well adverse some conditions instead.
Hannah Weir, Militia Captain. 1 in a white, 2/2 creature, human soldier, rare. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 4 or more creatures, transform Hannah Weir, Militia Captain. Its flip side does something I don't remember. At the beginning of your instep, if you control 4 more creatures, you put a 1/1, or at the
Yeah.
beginning of your instep, you put a 1/1, and it's a star equal
Yep.
to the number of creatures you control. What do you think?
Well, what I hate about it is it really kind of forces your hand to play right into mass removal, which I don't think is going anywhere in this format. I think whether it's the control-oriented decks, the ramp-oriented decks, I think you're going to have a lot of mass removal. And unless aggro like really takes hold, I think a majority of decks that you're going to play are going to want you to overcommit. And this deck, this card is like begging you to overcommit to make it good, because otherwise it's only a bear. Now, that said, if you're playing an aggro mirror where you're both just trying to go wide, or getting a certain Abbey to flip over is your thing, and you're already in on that strategy, then this card's a fine. This card's a fine man. So if you are not afraid of overcommitting, if that's already in your wheelhouse, then you can play this card, and maybe you play it with Whirler Rogue, and it's not that bad.
Immediately pause you real quick.
Okay.
Mega Beast says you guys are a lot higher on Declaration Stone than a lot of paper players I've been following, but I agree that it belongs in aggro a lot more than control. My question for you is, what paper players are you following? I personally have seen BBD, Brian Bronwyn. I've seen, I can't remember names now. They all left my.
Chapin's all
Patrick
over this
Chapin.
card. Yeah.
We have Tom Ross. We have Brad Nelson, Bard the Nard Nelson. We have all these pro players saying the card's insane. LSV gave the card a 7 out of 10 on his review. I'm probably one of the fewer people that have premium on Star City Games that I can read the articles that people are talking about. And a lot of people are talking up Declaration in Stone and talking about it. People are even saying that it's better than Anguish Unmaking in certain decks. So I'm not sure which pro players you're following, but that's what I'm reading. I just wanted to give my 2 cents to defend the card because it's just.
But we got a lot of cards. Yeah, what adequate defense? We got a lot of cards to go.
Yeah. And my quick thing on Militia Captain is I just see it as a 2-mana 2/2 that says if you're winning the game, win some more, and I'm not a fan of those cards.
Gotcha.
Next card, Hope Against Hope. 2 and a white, enchantment aura, enchant creature gets +1/+1 for each creature you control as long as it's human and has first strike. Garbage.
Yep, more of the same. Playing into that mass removal. Garbage.
Yeah. Inquisitor's Ox, 3 and a white for a 2/5 with Delirium. It's a common. It gets +1/+0 and Vigilance if you have Delirium, which means if you have 4 different card types among cards in your graveyard. Garbage.
This is our first Delirium card, which I expected more of in this set, and I don't think we got as much as I expected. I will say that I'm going to take the words right out of Nighthawk's mouth. Dodges Reprisal, dodges Languish. OP.
Needs nerf. Siege Master Dog 2.0.
Yep.
Inspiring Captain, 3 and a white for 3/3. When it enters the battlefield, creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. We have that card in this game already, and it sucks.
Yeah, didn't need more.
2 white.
Don't know why we got it.
Militant Inquisitor, 2 and a white for a 2/1. It gets, or 2/3. Militant Inquisitor gets +1/+0 for each equipment you control. Garbage.
Yeah, still the equipment deck, and still not where you
Still
want to
bad.
be. Yep, still bad.
Moorland Drifter, 1 and a white for a 2/2. If you have Delirium, it gets flying. Garbage.
We're on a... See, white is back in its vanilla. Here is your junky man for 3 and 4 mana, and we are just on a bad streak here.
Nahiri's Machinations, 1 and a white. I know that's not what that card says. 1 and a white enchantment. At the beginning of combat on your turn, target creature you control gets indestructible until end of turn. 1 in a red. It deals 1 damage to target blocking creature. This card's garbage in my opinion. Do you think this is fine at all? I think it's terrible.
I'm not in for this. This is not the type of effect I'm looking for. It's hard to even picture like a best case scenario where this is what you want to do with with your mana. I don't see it.
Yep. All right, 3 mana, Paranoid Perish Blade, 2 and a white for a 3/2. Delirium, it gets +1/+0 and has first strike as long as they're 4 card types. This card's garbage.
Another Delirium card, and definitely that 2 toughness, man. It's gonna be a killer. It's not where you want to live, and not for that cost either.
Okay, Pisces Evangel, 2 and a white for a 2/2. Human Cleric uncommon. When Pisces Evangel or another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life. You can pay 2 mana, tap it, sacrifice another permanent, transform.
No! Peepy left the party. What happened? Hold on, guys. He's coming back. Don't y'all worry. We got this under control. We got this under control. Xbox, they try to troll us. They try to shut us down, but it ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna happen, right? Right, Peepy? Peepy? Where are you, Peepy? I don't hear you. I don't hear you.
Oh, man.
There he is. There he is.
Okay. Sorry, something went wrong again. Anyway, did everyone hear what I said about Pisces, or did we not get it?
I think we got cut off in there. You were talking... You hadn't flipped the card yet. That's where we left off. You had not yet flipped the card.
It's a 3 mana 2/2 that you can pay 2 and tap it, sacrifice another permanent, transform it. It transforms into a 2/4 black creature that says whenever a creature you control dies, you gain a life and your opponent loses a life.
Alright, so this at least got us... This got us out of the generic... white cards to something we can actually try to have a conversation about and figure out if there's anything here. The fact that it says sacrifice another permanent is interesting, as there are, there's kind of that Esper Aristocrats I want to try, where sacrificing something may be a benefit, and it could be interesting.
Mhm.
It's another permanent. The other side of it is kind of the good old Blood Artist, which we haven't really had in this version of Duels. And the life gain on the
Uh-huh.
front and the 4 toughness, there's a lot going on with this card. My gut says it's not actually good, but it's something I do want to test because if you can't screw around with a
Pious.
card like this, then what are you doing in this game, right? I mean, that's kind of where I look at it.
All right, so my 2 cents on the card is the card is good. I think it's good. It won't be in like the mono white strategies. It'll be in a black white shell or an Esper shell. It is the Zulaport Cutthroat / Blood Artist. So if you want to go off on your opponent, this is the card you want, except it's white, so you can't play it in green and black, so you'd have to play it in a different style list. So this gives you, like your Esper deck, this gives you your Zulaport Cutthroat, but you only get 3 copies and you have to work hard to get to it. But I think the card's fine because the card is a Soul Sister on the front, and it gains you life, so it gets you to that point of the game where you need, like, it gets you to that point of the game where you can combo off on your opponent and kill them. I think the card's fine. I think the card will see play. It's not great by any means, but I think it'll make for fun decks. Um, I know this deck will probably fit into that black-white vampire deck I've seen a lot of people playing a lot recently, like the ones that play that 3-mana Drana ally. That's the 2/2 flyer at the beginning of upkeep, lose a life,
Yeah.
gain a life, and then
Yeah.
the ally vampire, and then you play the 4-mana ally vampire that gets +1/+1 counters each time you gain a life. Like that's a fun little interesting deck that this card adds another piece to it. It makes it fun and synergetic. So this card fits in the black-white vampire deck, even though it's not a vampire. So it's a fun little Magic card.
Yeah, for sure.
The
I'm
next
looking forward
card,
to it.
Puncturing Light, 1 in a white, instant speed. Destroy target attacking or blocking creature with power 3 or less. Garbage.
Yeah, this isn't what you want to play. I mean, what are we doing with more of these effects? We have Gideon's Reproach, we have Celestial Flare. It's just why? Why more?
Yeah, we
No,
don't need them.
we don't need more. Just, what I really want in this update is a hide button, so I can just hide all the repetitive junk they give us.
Yep.
And this
Next
would
card,
be
Reaper
hitting the
of
hide
Flight,
button.
Moonsilver.
Nice work. Nice name.
Reaper of Flight. Yeah, sweet name, bad card. 3 for white foreshadow. 3 and a white for a 3/3 flyer. Delirium. If it has Delirium, you can sacrifice another creature and give it +2/+1. Who cares?
Oh man, but dude, like that White Aristocrats, I'm telling you, I miss my Fallen Angel from back in the day. And this card is doing a cheap, horrible impression of it, but that won't stop me from trying to find my Fallen Angel again. So I'm going to play with this card. I know it's probably not going to be something that is worth the effort, especially at the cost and with what you can do instead at 5 mana now. Reality Smash, Archangel Avacyn, for example. But still, I'm going to be messing with it for fun.
Well, Spectral Shepherd is a Windrake in white. It's 2 and a white for a 2/2 flyer, and then for 2 mana, 1 in a blue, you can return target spirit you control to its owner's hand. Mediocre, bad, garbage. Won't play it. Never play it.
Yeah, pretty sad. There is a part of me that wants to go back to Blinking Spirit days. From way back when, where you would play blue-white control and your only win condition was Blinking Spirit, because if they tried to kill it, you just bounce it. And there's a part of me that wants to try it, but that deck's not going to be good.
We have Survive the Night, 2 and a white. Target creature gets +1/+0, and gains indestructible. Then you investigate. This card's garbage. Nothing needs else to be said about it.
Pass.
Tennessee, 3 and a white.
Tennessee.
Tenacity.
Tenacity. That's Tennessee.
Tennessee.
That's tenacity,
Tennessee.
my friend. Tenacity.
No, Tennessee, 3 and a white, instant speed, creatures you control get +1/+1, and gain lifelink until end of turn and tap those creatures. Just like Tennessee, this card is garbage.
Yeah, play the indestructible one instead. This isn't, the rate's too much. 4 mana. Nope. Play the indestructible one instead.
Dahlia's Lieutenant, 1 and a white, Creature Human Soldier rare, 1/1. When Thalia's Lieutenant enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on each other human you control. Whenever another human enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on Thalia's Lieutenant. This card is nuts.
Yeah. You want to go?
This
You want to
card
run with
is
this?
yeah, sure. I talked about how I would mention a card when I got to a certain point that I was so upset that it was a common that wasn't put in this game. This card would be so much better, except the one drops aren't good enough. Aren't good enough to like play a one drop then play this guy. Like you'll have your their Expedite Envoy, the 1 mana 2/1 ally, and then we'll
Yeah.
have Keithion, and then you want to play this guy on turn 2, make it a 3/2, and make him a 1/1, and then just like keep playing your board, and then just like throw humans on your board. But you don't have enough 1 mana 2/1s in the format. And oh my gosh, if they gave us Thraben Inspector, this
Oh my
deck would have
God.
been insane. It would have been insane. Just 1 mana 2. It's a Thraben Inspector. If you guys don't know, it's a 1 mana 1/2 that says when it enters the battlefield, investigate. It looks like a bad card, but it's the perfect card for this deck, and they didn't give it to us. I'm very upset.
Nope.
But this card's super insane. This is another card that pushes the mono white weenie deck even further. You have this card. You have Always Watching. You have so many cards that just make this like we have the Bygone Bishop. Like so many cards, so much power goes into this mono white deck that this mono white deck's going to be real. It's just having enough cards to get there. And I think the only problem right now is we don't have enough one-drop creatures, one-drop humans. So the deck will be a little
Yeah.
bit slower than you want it to be. But man, if we had Thraben Investigator, oh man, it would have been so sweet. It would have been
Yeah.
so much fun. Would have been playing it nonstop.
I think we're stuck with anointing the Anointer of Champions or something like that for now. But yeah,
Yeah,
Thraben
Keith,
Inspector would have been that value I really would want to get out of it. It's too bad we didn't get it.
Yeah. Next card is Toppelgeist.
Yep.
1 white, 1/1 flying spirit uncommon. When it enters the battlefield, you tap target creature an opponent controls. And if you have Delirium, at the beginning of your opponent's upkeep, you can tap down target creature he controls. The card is sweet. The card was super good and limited. I want to play it in mono white aggro, but the problem is I can't. You can't getting Delirium and mono white's hard. Like this would be a good white replacement if you could effectively get Delirium, but I don't think you can effectively get Delirium in that deck. Therefore, this card's not as good, and I have to find another white drop creature to play. Although it is a strict upgrade to Suntail Hawk, power
Yeah.
creep.
Oh.
I'm talking about you, Cryderp. Cryderp's out there. He better get scared. He's out there. Now he has to play against 7 copies.
The Suntail Hawks got better. Look out. Yeah,
Yep.
Toppelgeist. There's definitely not enough payoff now that we're at the end of white here. There's not enough payoff in white for Delirium. So that alone, if you see Delirium on a white card, just assume it's not going to happen. Just don't even read it.
Alright. Hold on.
Holden.
Alright, next card. Vessel of... Oh man, my names are butchered. Vessel of Ephemera?
You
Vessel
got it.
of Ephemera.
You right.
One in a white enchantment. 2 in a color. 2 in a white. Sacrifice it. Put 2 1/1 white spirit creature tokens with flying onto the battlefield. What are your thoughts?
You're essentially sinking 5 mana into this for 2 1/1 flyers. Now, it is an enchantment, which means you can Mondo combo that Auramancer like you've always wanted to. But this isn't something I'm going to be trying to fit into my deck. I mean, at this point, like, Oath of Gideon's a better raid even without the evasion. I don't see this really doing it. Maybe as again, it's like a Delirium thing. There's not enough Delirium in white to pay off. So maybe this is like a one of in some token strategy. But I would generally avoid. That's my instinct.
Yep. It's alright. It might do something. I doubt it though. Card's mediocre. Alright, so now we're going on to blue cards.
Woohoo!
Alright,
Blue!
so blue cards. We have
And we lost Bounce.
Fix-
Bounce went to bed. He missed the blue cards. It's not right.
Alright, so we have the Fixed Delver of Secrets. Aberrant Researcher, 3 and a blue for a 3/2 flyer. At the beginning of your upkeep, put the top card of your library into your graveyard. If it's instant or sorcery card, transform it, and it becomes a 5/4 flyer. Lame.
Yeah, this card is bad in K. It's no Delver. It's really sad.
No one cares.
Sad iteration of Delver.
Oh, looks like Infamous missed this card, as I'm sure he'll love it.
Oh.
Broken Concentration. Like he was literally upset that he didn't get a counter spell, and he completely missed this one. And this is the same exact thing. So Broken Concentration, 1 blue instant, counter target spell, and then it has Madness for 3 and a blue. Uncommon, not bad. Will be played.
Yeah, I guess. I keep on hoping it'll get better. I have a hard time tolerating the counter spells that we have, in this game. And you're right, it stacks up fine with what we have, but I still don't think it makes like traditional counter decks, able to compete. It just doesn't feel like it's good enough.
Next card, we have Catalog, 2 and a blue, instant speed, draw 2 cards, then discard a card. Strictly worse than Artificer's Epiphany, but still fine. I just question why they keep giving us like cards that are either like slightly worse or just like slightly better versions of another card. It's like now you can play 8 copies of Artificer's Epiphany. Like, who cares? Catalog's fine. It's another card for like the Reanimator decks or whatever, or the Delirium Madness decks. The card's fine. It might see play. I don't know if you need 8 copies. I guess it would be preference of artwork.
Yeah, no, I don't think you need 8 copies. I don't think there's a world where that exists. I do wish we just got something else.
Like, if you'd rather play a card that has Tameo on it, Catalog's for you. If not, then...
Hey, Art Pref. So John for Braves is trying to get our attention over Dredge Delirium. I promise I'll talk about it when we get to a card that's really relevant too. Okay, I promise I'll bring it up. Go on.
He's I do believe he's some kind of monster of some kind. If I'm getting the same card vibe.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that because you and I might just get in. That one might take a minute.
We might go deep.
Deep.
The next card, Compelling Deterrence, 1 in the blue, instant speed, return target non-land. Shut up. Return target non-land permanent to his hand. That player discards the card if you control a zombie. I don't care about this card. This card is not for me.
You don't like compelling deterrence? You don't like compelling deterrence? It's compelling. So compelling deterrence is an interesting card that really hinges on the zombies we play and if they're any good. And since I think the zombie tribe is actively bad at the moment, I don't think it will be... I mean, you may as well play it instead of Disperse because it's Disperse with upside, right? So you throw it in there.
Yeah, I guess.
And just play it instead of Disperse.
Will rejoice.
Yeah, yeah.
And Black Bonnie will rejoice.
And maybe someday you'll just get a zombie somehow. Maybe there's a spell that puts a zombie in play for you that your opponent plays.
You can play this. You can play this in your reanimation decks, and when you from the grave or from the beyond your Woolmog into play, it's a zombie in addition to other types, and then you can cast this and make them discard a card. Boom, value.
Boom, done. Did it.
All right, next card. Confirm Suspicions, 3 blue, instant speed, counter target spell, investigate 3 times. 5 mana.
5 mana, but a delayed kind of draw 3 effect.
Maybe.
I'll take a swing. I like it as like a 1. I mean, it's only a 2 of anyway. I like it as like a 1 of, Sometimes you just gotta hit that big spell, and you get those 3 clues, and now you have Angelic Purge fuel, or you got card draw for later. But I would never play more than 1, I don't think. I never want this stuck in my hand, messing up my curve, messing up my early game interaction. It's kind of terrifying to me paying 5 for that.
John Ford Braves is calling it a treasure cruise. I don't know about that.
Not 1 mana, dude. It's 5.
Yeah. Confirmed Suspicions is alright. I'm just not a fan of it. It's not for me. Next card is garbage. Drown Yard Explorers, 3 and a blue for a 2/4. Enters the battlefield, you investigate. Garbage. We don't need to talk about it.
Ugh.
Corpse Traveler, 3 and a blue for a 1/1. Uncommon. When it enters the battlefield, you put a 2/2 black zombie creature token on the battlefield, and then you pay 2 and a black. Target zombie gains death touch until end of turn. Don't care. Not for me. It's a zombie though, so I guess it fits in the blue-black zombie deck. But
It's got
I could care less.
ETB. You know, compelling. It turns on your compelling deterrence. You know what I mean?
Shut up.
Get your compelling deterrence on. Now, this isn't the worst zombie. I mean, if you're gonna play the zombies, I think that
And to be fair,
you might go
fair,
there.
some of these cards are blurry, and I just can't see the letters.
Yeah, I know, man. I just give
Like,
you. I've got to. I can't let you just roll with that. There's no free rolls on
Like
here.
I'm about to mess up this next card. I'm pretty sure.
All right, tear it a new one.
Erdwall Illuminator.
Sure.
I can't read it. Erdwall. It's a white and a
Erdwall.
blue.
It's Erdwall. We'll go
For-
with Erdwall.
What's it say?
I don't know, man. I don't know. It doesn't
Erdwall.
matter anymore. It's Erdwall. I don't need to know.
It's a blue and a colorless spirit flyer for 1/3. Whenever you investigate for the first time each turn, investigate an additional time. Don't care. Garbage.
Yeah, is there an investigate
I
theme
guess it's a
deck
spirit.
only for the absolute most casual, ridiculous people who want to treat Magic like Sherlock Holmes? Okay,
Yeah.
so no, just no, not for me, not for
Next
this
card.
crowd.
Essence Flux. 1 blue, instant speed. Exile target creature you control, then return to the battlefield under your owner's control. If it's a spirit, put a +1/+1 counter on it. When you just need to protect your Eldrazi displacers.
I'm thinking, yeah, it does that, but I'm thinking, how about some abuse with a Reflector Mage?
It goes in
here's-
the same deck.
Really, this card can actually interacts with a lot of things in that strategy. I mean, with Avacyn, right? With Archangel Avacyn, you get
Yep.
indestructible on demand. You get to unflip her if you flipped her and want the other side back for whatever reason. There's a lot of options, and I'm really surprised we got this card. Like, I thought for sure
card's
it was too much interaction for duels.
Blue-white flicker might be a deck.
It might be a deck, you guys. It might.
Next card we got is Forgotten Creations. It's 3 and a blue, 3/3 Skulk Zombie Warrior. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may discard all the cards in your hand and draw that many cards. For all you tutelage players that just won't go away, here you go.
Yeah, and have a good time. So
Yeah.
in Magical Christmas Land, where you just are rummaging your deck like a fiend and drawing ridiculous amounts of cards and fueling a super graveyard, but I'm not looking at this card. This isn't really my target for something to do in this
Take
format.
it, leave me alone.
Yeah.
Next
Yep.
card. Furtive Homunculus. 1 and a blue for 2/1 with Skulk. Lame.
Lame supreme. Now what's the creature type?
Homunculus.
What? Why? I mean, you could have at least given us a 2/1 Skulker that had some synergy with something. Give us a zombie, give us a spirit, but no. We get a homunculus. Okay, moving on.
Alright, next card. Jace, Unraveler of Secrets. 3 blue, Planeswalker, Mythic Rare, 5 loyalty. +1, scry 1, then draw a card. -2, return target creature to its owner's hand. -8, you get an emblem with whenever an opponent casts his or her first spell on each turn, counter that spell.
Yeah, you're gonna play it because it's a planeswalker. It's not the best planeswalker, but it's gonna be like one of the only real sources of card advantage in duels are planeswalkers. Like they really
this
are the
card-
best draw cards.
This card is strictly better than Omnixless. Strictly better.
Yeah,
I played
no
with
life
it.
payment.
I played with Omnixless, I played with this card. This card is eons better with it. Better than This card can bounce 2 things and stay alive. This card protects you. This card does it all. This card, and it's also in the right colors. Like this card just 100% strictly better than Omnixless.
Yep. Have fun with a Jace we can straight up cast. And it might even,
Yep.
it might be better than Vryn's Prodigy in Duels, because we just don't have the same ways to abuse the flashback that we have in Standard or in other formats.
I'm going to go ahead and say Vryn's Prodigy is still better.
Okay. Fair enough. Oh, yeah, well, with Madness now, what am I thinking?
Yeah,
Fired from my own stream. Commit Harry Carey. Exile.
Alright, next card, Just in the Wind, 1 in a blue, instant speed, return target creature to its owner's hand, and then it has Madness for a blue. This card's fine.
If you have any discard outlets, you may as well play it. And you're going to have Jace. You
Yeah,
may as well play it,
crazy.
because it's going to feel like hitting the frickin' lottery when you get to do it off Madness.
Lamplighter of Sheolf, 4 in a blue, for a 3/5, when it enters the battlefield, if you control another zombie, you can draw a card. If you do, discard a card. This card sucks.
Yeah, I'll take a pass on this card. Just too much and too stupid.
Yep, bad. Metropolis Sprite, 1 in a blue for a 1/2 flyer. You can pay a blue, give it +1/-1 until end of turn. This card's bad.
Wouldn't run it. Just get your
Nagging
Welkin
Thoughts,
turn if
1
that's
in
what
a
you want to
blue.
do.
Yeah. Nagging Thoughts, 1 and a 2, sorcery. Look at the top 2 cards of your library, put 1 in your hand and the other in your graveyard. Madness for 2. This card's pretty sweet for your Madness decks. It's also sweet for your like Reanimator decks. It gives you a way to put more guys in your graveyard faster. Like, I like this card. This card's fine. Like, if you're really digging in the later game, you can cast Artificer's Epiphany, pitching this, and then cast it in response. So I like this card. This card's fine.
Yeah, it's. I'm always gonna feel nasty if I'm playing it as sorcery speed for 3. So to me, it really is about
No, it costs
the madness.
2 mana. It costs 2 mana.
It does. Oh, my bad. So it's 2
Yeah.
mana either way. Well, then
Yeah.
if you're 2-drop light, this is another solution. Would you run it over Telling Time? Depends on the rest of your deck, but I have a feeling the way Shadows is shaping up that the answer is yes.
Yeah, I
'cause-
feel like
yeah.
if I'm playing a Reanimator deck, I would play this over Telling Time.
Gotcha. Yeah. In general, I think more stuff in the graveyard. I think Delirium. Even if you're not reanimating, yeah, just more options. There's more ways to use the graveyard now. So yeah, get on this. It's gonna be fun. That's what she said.
Next card, Pieces of the Puzzle, 2 in a blue, sorcery. Reveal the top 5 cards of your library, put up to 2 instants or sorcery cards from among them into your hand, and then shuffle, and then the rest in your graveyard. This card's good.
It
I
is.
had
You got to have the right mix. You have to be able to hit. If you hit double, sorcery instant often enough, but I mean, we're talking like a lot of spells. We're talking like 16 instants and sorceries to be really reliable. If
this
there's
would go into that
yeah.
Sultai deck. This is like the Sultai Reanimator card.
Yeah. It's definitely got potential. You gotta pay attention to your numbers when you're building, because if you're whiffing, it's not gonna feel healthy. It's gonna feel pretty sad. But it is a cool card. I'm really surprised we kind of got it. I don't know.
Yeah.
It could encourage. It kind of does push you towards less creatures and more kind of crazy spell action. So could be fun, especially Esper, where you can get spells like Anguish Unmaking, Declaration of Stone. I mean, there are more broken spells now in the game than there have been before.
Yep. Alright, next card, Pour Over the Pages. 3 blue sorcery, draw 3 cards, untap up to 2 lands, then discard a card. Not a fan. Don't care about this card. What about you?
I think some people are excited for this card. Your Madness outlet, you want to make sure that your Madness cards are cheap, that you have Madness cards to discard to this. Just the Wind is, if you're playing with that card. I think that 5 mana is a big opportunity cost to put into a card like this, and then set yourself back to 2 mana for the rest of your turn. I'm not as big of a fan, but I see a lot of people excited about it. And in tutelage, pay 5, draw 3, keep like a fog open. It's not unfathomable to say that, especially with the card draw we have in Duels, it's not very good. So it's not unfathomable to me that we'll see more of this card than I'd expect. So I'm not as hyped, but I can see that it could have an impact.
Sure. I'll be right back. I have to go grab my laptop real quick, so bear with me.
All right. So Peepy's off to probably take a nap. Just kidding. I'm picking on him for that yawn. So where are we at in this set? We're making our way through the blue. We're getting towards the end of blue over here. We got some exciting stuff coming up. Then we've got, of course, the black. We got the red. We got the green. We got the gold. And then we'll be all the way through shadows. If you guys have been hanging out with us for a while, thank you. This is kind of an impromptu. It wasn't really set up. Peepy and I, we saw the card list. We jumped into party, and we were just talking about cards. And it was like, why don't we put a party chat together now that we can stream our party chat? And maybe some people want to hear, just hear us ramble about the new cards. And thank you guys for being out here and doing that with us. It's really cool to see so many people watching the stream. It's totally awesome. So now that we've been kind of prattling on, what are your deck ideas? Like, what are the first decks you're going to throw together? If you want to help me kill some time in the chat, like, what are the decks you're going to be tossing together once you unlock all the cards on day one?
I'm back.
All right, cool. I gave them a little homework assignment. They might put some of the decks that they're going to be building on day one in the chat, like Asimos, of course. But you can restart whenever you're ready.
If you could start reading some of the cards, I have to write something up real quick.
He's got to write stuff. Okay. Oh man, how am I gonna do this? Like like all I see are the blurriest things of the cards. Okay, I'll figure it out. Just a second. Give me a minute. Whoa. I don't have the Facebook app on any of my things, so that's one of the things that's going to make this odd.
It's only going to take me about 3 or 4 minutes.
There we go. Okay, so where are we at? We're at Press for Answers. Pressing for Answers. The sad monster graphic in Press for Answers as a lawyer makes the monster sad and maybe water tortures him. It's hard to say. This card is 1 in a blue. I can't really tell this very well from what I've got in front of me, but it looks like a common. It's a sorcery. Oh, it is a common. I see the numbers. Like it says 4x now. So it is a common sorcery, 1 in a blue. Tap target creature. It doesn't untap. During its controller's next untap step, investigate. This is an interesting little card. The fact that you don't draw the card right away means you actually put more mana into it than a Crippling Chill. The fact that it's a sorcery means you only get 1 untap step out of it instead of locking down 2 attack steps. So I don't think it's good. The clue may be a relevant thing with the right deck, but I don't think that's a competitive deck. So this is a card I would skip.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, enough said. Rattle Chains. So this is a more interesting card. What we've got here is 1 mana and a blue, and it's a spirit creature. It is rare, so you get 2 of them. It has flash. It has flying. It is a 2/1. When it enters the battlefield, target spirit gains hexproof until end of turn. This is a strict upgrade to that Welkin turn, and in my opinion, along with that Dimensional Infiltrator, fills up that kind of, if you were in the market for a 2/1 flyer for 2, this kind of fills the role. Do you see more out of this card? Maybe that extra ability? Do you think the spirit deck is for real? What do you think?
I don't like the card. It's a 2 mana 2/1 flyer, and I don't think there's enough good spirits in the game to make it viable. I'm just not a fan.
Gotcha. Yeah. Kind of muted optimism on Rattle Chains, although it is strictly better than those Welkin turns. You can take those out of your decks now, all you believer in the birds. So moving into,
I can come back onto it now.
Oh, you want? Let me just handle this one. One more here. We're gonna do Reckless Scholar. It's a blue and 2 mana for a human wizard who really resembles the Back to the Future guy, It's your kids, Marty. We gotta go back. It's your kids. We gotta go where we're going. We don't need roads. What is that? Christopher Lloyd, I think.
Yep.
But yep, the Doc Emmett Brown is back as Reckless Scholar. So if you tap Reckless Scholar, well, he's a 2/1. Let me get that out of the way. He's uncommon. And if you tap him, target player draws a card, then discards a card. So this is clearly the finisher for the tutelage deck. When you mill them down to 0, you target them with Reckless Scholar, forcing them to draw a card, and they die. Can you think of any other good uses for this card?
Yeah, this card's pretty bad.
Yeah, a 2/1's going to be easy pickings. A Looter is supposed to be a blue and 1 mana, and this is a blue and 2 mana. I really don't want to put the extra mana into it. I really don't want the 1 toughness. It's interesting, but if you need a madness outlet that bad, there are better. There's just better. We deserve better, damn it. That's what I'm trying to say. So you want to be back on this? Peeps. Peepy. Have I lost my Peepy? I think his controller probably went out again.
And I guess that was a mistake.
Oh.
Yeah. So, alright, well, okay, so the next card is Rise from the Tides. 5 and a blue, sorcery. Put a 2/2 black zombie creature token onto the battlefield, tap for each instant sorcery card in your graveyard. This is a cute card that is one of those cards.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. We lost him again.
Jesus Louise, I can't come to thing. Anyway,
Jesus Louise,
so
ladies and gentlemen. Jesus Louise.
it's one of those cards where it's really bad, but I'm gonna try to win a game with it.
But here's the thing, right? This is taking me back to spider spawning. Let's remove Ramp from the equation, because obviously Ramp is just going to Rolling Thunder, Chandra Flamecaller, Radiant Flames, Kozilek's return this, and make you sad. But let's remove that from the equation. Let's assume you're playing against any other kind of mid-range or aggro deck, and you play a deck that's, say, blue-white or blue-black, that all it does is kill all their stuff, just casts a ton of sorceries, uses that pieces of the puzzle, right? And then when you hit that 6 mana, or even that 5 mana off that Warping Whale with that Scion, you just cast that Rise from the Tides, and now you've got like 10 2/2s. It's like that spider spawning. Like, what are they gonna do? Without a sweeper, they're just like dead.
It's one of those fun cards that I want to try. It's actually a bad card, but it's one of the ones that's like, that'll be fun to cast, so I'm gonna do it.
Oh yeah, I'm not just going to cast it. I'm going to flash it back the next turn with Jace. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to live the dream over here. I don't let my dreams be dreams.
So, to continue why did they give us a 4th copy of this card? We have Sleep Paralysis, Green or Blue, Enchant Creature. When it enters the battlefield, tap Enchanted Creature. It doesn't untap during its untap step. Who cares? We have 5 copies of it. They're all bad.
Still
Next
bad.
Card.
Still bad.
2 and a blue for a 2/3. It's the worst one, actually. 2 and a blue for a 2/3. When it enters the battlefield tapped. When it enters the battlefield tapped, target creature your opponent controls. That creature doesn't tap. Wow, it looks like we're following the same thing. I didn't ask for another Frostlinks. I didn't want another Frostlinks.
But this is actually an upgrade, right? I mean, because Frostlinks typically doesn't need to block the next turn, so what you have is a 2/3. So you get 1 more toughness, and you got the zombie creature type. What that means is compelling deterrence.
Shut up.
It's got compelling, but I mean that fits into your tempo, right? You tap one down, you bounce the other one with the deterrence. They discard a card. I mean, isn't there something there? Come on. There's got to be something. Don't you want to try that? Don't you want to try that?
Nope.
I know you do. Aw.
We have Storm Rider Spirit, 4 and a blue for 3/3 Flash Flyer. Garbage. It's just a generic piece of shit.
Yep, garbage stamp.
Nobody
Garbage.
for.
Moving on.
We have Thing in the Ice is a 1 and a blue, Defender, Rare, 0/4 Horror. It enters the battlefield with 4 ice counters on it. When you cast an instant or sorcery spell, remove an ice counter from Thing in the Ice, and then when Thing in the Ice has 0 counters on it, you transform it. Thing in the Ice transforms into a 7/8, and it bounces all non-horror creatures to their owner's hands.
Whoa. Like, whoa, dude.
What do you think?
Whoa. Whoa. So this card,
Oozes
I already
with
wrote
value.
already put a couple of brews up on my website with just cards that had been spoiled so far. Prowess being a big one. The Expedite Slip Through Space. They weren't even in that deck because those hadn't been spoiled yet. That's kind of my instinct, is to just play this in a Prowess deck, throw the cantrips down, throw down some Twin Bolt, Fiery Impulse. I almost Fiery Incense. Throw down some Fiery Incense nonsense, and flip your Thing in the Ice and just wreck. The 4 toughness is a big deal. That's not an automatic kill by any means in Duels. It's not a straightforward card to remove. I think this card's legit. I think there's going to be a lot of horror stories. See what I did there? Horror stories about this card, and I can't wait to play with it. Like, this is on my short list. This is in my top 10 for sure, for both fun and competitive.
Next card we have Vessel of Paramecia. It's a 1 and a blue enchantment, and then you can pay 1, sacrifice it. Target player puts the top 3 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard and draw a card. Spoiler alert, you're supposed to target yourself with this card. I'm not a huge fan. I mean, the Delirium, like, there's not like a huge Delirium spell that I'm like, I really want to use, you know? So I'm just not a fan of this card. I'm not impressed.
Now, the 3 mana, like, you gotta sink 3 mana into it for the effect. The enchantment does make Delirium more likely. I still haven't seen anything to make me say Delirium is amazing and totally worth having. It just hasn't happened yet. This card, maybe a Reanimator, all-in combo deck. It's hard to picture that deck being actually good as opposed to casual. So I'm not behind the Vessel. I'm not on it. I'm not on that.
Next card, Welcome to the Fold. 2 blue rare. It has Madness for blue X. You gain control of target creature if its toughness is 2 or less, and if its Madness cost was paid, you gain control of target creature with toughness X or less. What do you think?
Well, this card, here's the way I see it, especially with all that talk we've been having about 2 toughness, right? I think if you cast this as it is, it's probably really close to bad. And if you do Madness, it's pretty amazing. So how reliable is Madness in your blue deck? You can obviously pair it with red or black. And how much mana are you going to have? I don't see this as a card I just don't see this as a card I just jam into my deck. It seems like it really relies on the synergy, and that's not really where I want to be in blue and black. That said, if you can make it consistent and make it work, and you have all that mana available, it's control magic. It's really powerful. I mean, maybe there's a giant ramp deck that also somehow has discard that just gains control of your Ulamog for the Rubbins. I don't know, but I don't see it. Like, for me, this is not a card I'm going to be playing with right away. Somebody else is going to have to break it and make me a believer before I really get into it.
Yep. Alright. Next card, we have... Oh, Jesus, I can't read it.
You can do it. I believe in you.
Something of the Veins, 2 and black sorcery. It's just a bad card, so who cares? Target opponent loses 3 life and you gain 3 life. It has Madness for black. No one cares. This card's bad. Moving on.
Guys, this doesn't affect the board. That's the thing for all of you out there who are like 3 damage and 3 life. If you're not affecting the board, you're probably doing it wrong. And this is an example of doing it wrong.
Asylum Visitor, 1 and a black for 3/1. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, if that player has no cards in his or her hand, you draw a card and lose 1 life, and it has Madness for 1 and a black. This will go into the mono black aggro decks and nowhere else.
I think you're right about that. Maybe in the black-red. I'm curious to see how it does in duels. The thing that I think is important to understand is that it's really hard to get both sides of the trigger. People who think they're going to be drawing cards on each upkeep are wrong. If you do get a card draw off like their upkeep, you're going to have a card in your hand come your upkeep, so you won't get it. It's okay it's kind of okay. I don't think it's going to be an auto include, and I think there's going to be a lot of cases where it shouldn't be included at all.
Biting Rain, another card that we've gotten already that we don't need. 2 black sorcery, all creatures get -2/-2 until end of turn, madness for 2 and a black. Is this better than Rising Miasma? Does Rising Miasma see play? Who cares? Going on.
Next card! Next card! Next!
Call the Bloodline. 1 a black enchantment, uncommon. 1 discard a card, put a 1/1 black vampire knight creature token with lifelink onto the battlefield. Activate this ability only once each turn.
Can you make the madness thing really pay? It's a cheap madness enabler that gives you a minor amount of value, very minor. Like if you think that if there's some part of you that thinks I can discard my mana flood to make 1/1 lifelink vampires, you're doing it wrong. You have to get a madness payoff, or this card is just ugly and sad.
Yeah, I just see this card and I'm like, it's a do-nothing enchantment for the turn you play it. I don't like do-nothing.
Yeah,
stuff.
I prefer Vampiric Rites even, you know? It's
Yep.
Like,
Crow the Dark Tidings. 2 and a black zombie bird. For a 2/1 flyer, when it enters the battlefield or dies, put the top 2 cards of your library into your graveyard. Good Delirium enabler, but where are the Delirium cards? Who knows? Moving
don't
on.
know. Maybe some compelling deterrence.
Deadweight, black mana. Enchant creature gets -2/-2. Pretty bad. Don't care about it. I'm moving on.
It's okay. I mean, if you've played Duels long enough, you've played Deadweight before, and you know it kind of has a role.
I'm not a fan. But, you know, to each their own. Diagraph Colossus. 2 and a black for a 2/2. Zombie Giant. When Diagraph Colossus in his battlefield, it enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it for each zombie card in your graveyard. Whenever you cast a zombie spell, put a 2/2 black zombie creature token onto the battlefield tapped. Meh. I'm not actually, like, big on this card at all.
Yeah, I don't think we've got enough zombies, and definitely not like enough cheap zombies. I mean, there's combos we got from under the floorboards coming. How about, you know, with that crazy sorcery deck? I think some people will try to make the zombie thing work with Flesh Bag, and this card is kind of their avatar, but I think I don't think that's aggro, which is where I like my zombies. I think that's like an awkward mid-range deck, and that's not really what I'm after. And spoiler, no, we don't have Relentless Dead to fall back on here.
Yeah, and then also just like, what do you do when your opponent just says Reality Smasher?
Yeah,
like, well,
your zombies are like, that's cute. We didn't think of doing anything that awesome in our deck, so...
Next card, Elusive Tormentor. 2 black creature vampire for a 4/4. You can pay mana, discard a card, you transform it, and it transforms into a 0/1 indestructible hexproof creature that can't block and it can't be blocked. And when it attacks, you can transform it back.
So, I want you to take the lead on this one. What do you got?
Alright, well, I got some shenanigans. I think this card is good. Just by itself, you can play this card and it's going to be good. You can pay 3 mana to flip it back and make it a 4/4 and deal some damage. That's sweet. So it's an unblockable 4/4 that can't be targeted as long as you have cards to discard. What I want to do with this card, however, is play it, flip it to a 0/1 indestructible hexproof that can't be blocked, and then equip it with the Geist Saint Trapped enchantment. That's the dream I want to live in. That's my dream. But I don't think that's a viable dream. But I think by itself, I think the card is good. What's your opinion?
I don't like this card. It doesn't do it for me. I never want. I can't picture myself wanting 4-drops in the Madness deck and then paying another mana to discard a card to flip it and then paying more mana to flip it back over.
See,
Seems like
I
an
feel like this
awkward
is a
mana
win
sink to
condition.
me.
I think this is a win condition in like a possible like control deck because this card can't really die as long as you have cards to discard. Like you can discard a card, flip it so it doesn't die, and it can't be blocked. And whenever you attack with it, you can flip it and deal 4 damage. So I like the card. I think the card will see some play.
I hear ya, and I'm happy to get like totally wronged on this and have people just wreck me with their, total control, elusive tormentor finisher deck. It's not my type of card. I have trouble picturing myself rolling with just all the mana sink and card sink it requires as a 4/4. I don't know. It's not. There's still a lot of kind of ways to get at it. It's not totally unkillable in that way, but you know what? I can't wait to put a dead weight on it and say, go ahead, flip it. And, oh wait, you just flip it in response.
Yeah.
What am I talking about? Never mind. I'm just gonna say let's move past the Tormentor. It's interesting that's there. It's not my type of card, but it could be good. I think we all should play with it.
Next up, we have Ever After. It's 4 black sorcery. You return up to 2 target creature cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. Each of those creatures is a black zombie in addition to its other colors and types. Put Ever After on the bottom of its owner's library. This is a sweet reanimation spell.
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah. Two critters? You just have to be able to mill extra hard to make sure you have 2 worthy critters.
I think a lot of the time this will just get like an Ulamog and a Fleshbag Marauder and you'll be happy about it.
Ta-da! And then they'll, in response, they'll Fiery Impulse your Fleshbag and you'll sack your Ulamog. Be good times.
Yeah.
Total trolling,
anyway.
But yes, Ever After is cool. And it's gonna that and like I don't think we have to play Rise from the Grave. We can play the Necromantic Summons, which is obviously better, and the Ever After, and we got some awesome reanimation spells to work our deck towards.
Yep, we got Fart Og Revenant. It's a 2 flag.
Fart Og indeed.
Skulk Lifelinker. This card is bad. Don't play it. Next card.
Yeah. How about no?
Yep. From the floorboards, 3 in black rare. Put 3 2/2 zombie creature tokens onto the battlefield tapped, and you gain 3 life. If its madness cost was paid, you put X of those tokens on the battlefield tapped, and you gain X life. This card's sweet.
This card is sweet. It's already a good rate. For 5 mana, you get 6 power and you get some life. If I'm reading that right, So right there, you've already got some action. You can run it with the Diregraph Colossus and go off. Those are both rare, so there's no consistency in your zombie deck, but those are the big hope for the tribal synergy. I don't know if this goes anywhere else. Like, is there a deck that just wants this effect on turn 6? Some kind of a black control or mid-rangey thing? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's that pieces of the puzzle kind of thing, and finding some cheap way to discard it.
I'm leaning towards this card not seeing a whole lot of play, but who knows?
Yeah. You're probably right. It feels like it's already got an interesting rate, but so does Priest of the Bloodright, which is more power and toughness, and that already doesn't it just doesn't see action. Not really. Only very rarely do I run into that card.
I kind of just want to say the next 3 cards are bad and don't play them, but I'll talk about them anyway. Ghoul Caller's a Compliance. It's a 1 in a black 2/2 human rogue. You pay 3 in a black, you can exile, you get a 2/2. The card's bad. You have Ghoulsteed, 5 mana for a 4/4 zombie horse. You can pay 2 in a black, you can discard 2 cards, and you can return it from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Card's bad. Then you have Glissa's Binding, 2 black sorcery, put 2/2 zombie creature tokens on the battlefield, and it has madness for 2 in a black. That card's not the worst. It's not great though. I'm just not a fan of the zombie tribal. So
yeah, I think I'm with you on all that stuff.
Yeah. Hair of the Falconwrath is 1 in a black for a 2/1 vampire. You discard a card and you transform it and it becomes a 3/2 flyer. What do you think?
I think that This card is almost good on its own in just the 3/2 evasion. I don't like the toughness really, but you still aren't going to get that kind of rate for 2 mana very often. And if you're willing to go down to 6 to have a 3/2 flyer on attacking on turn 3, then it's already decent. Now, once you get madness going, oh, once you get kind of some madness out of it, you're doing well.
Like, I just think the problem with all these madness vampires and zombies is they all just lose to Eldrazi. Like, I'm just like, I can't get excited. I'm like, these cards just die to the Eldrazi menace.
They start off really strong. They give you the big 2/3 curve, but then they're running into just bigger and badder, and that is kind of the aggro into mid-range, right? So is there a way that they can overcome it? I don't know. And in general, synergy strategies like Madness, they go the way of the processors and the what was it? It was ingest and process. You have to have the right mix of both, and they have to be able to come up consistently. So it's all in those commons and uncommons. This is one of those key uncommons. Will we get enough payoff for it? That's the question.
And I'll let you guys
I don't
know
see it
sweet
yet.
Delirium card. I'll let you know. The next card in Indulgent Aristocrat.
Indulgent.
It's
indulgent.
Indulgent. 1 black, 1/1, lifelink, 2 mana, sacrifice a creature, put a +1/+1 counter on each vampire you control. I think this card's garbage, but whatever.
Vampire theme deck superstar. Sacrifice that carrier troll. Beef up.
Yeah.
That's all. That's what I got. There you go. If this is your bag, baby, jump in it.
Kindly Stranger, 2 and a black, 2/3. Delirium, pay 3 and a black. Transform Kindly Stranger, activate this ability only if there are 4 more. This card is garbage.
Now we found our big Delirium payoff. Okay, so here's here's all you need to do to make Delirium work. You gotta get one of 4 cards of different types into your graveyard. You gotta pay 3 mana for a 2/3. It's gotta live. You gotta pay another 3 mana. You flip it over, and if your opponent still has a creature and they haven't killed your Kindly Stranger in response to you trying to activate it, then maybe you'll get to kill something. Ugh. No.
Yeah, Macabre Waltz, 1 in the black, return up to 2 target creature cards from your graveyard to your hand, then discard a card.
Not for me. Nope.
Not for
really.
me either.
No.
Nope.
Just kind of this sad and bad. That's what that card is most of the time when you don't have creatures in your graveyard that you want back. Sad and bad.
Merciless Resolve, 2 and a black, instant speed, as additional cost to cast it. Sacrifice a creature or land, draw 2 cards. No thanks.
Altar's Reap, sucking harder.
Yep. Mind Rack Demon, 2 black, 4/5, flyer with trample. When it enters the battlefield, put the top 4 cards of your library into your graveyard. If you have Delirium, you don't lose 4 life each turn.
Make your case.
Like in an aggro deck, sure. Yeah, that's about it.
So I still like this card, but the part that it's just not going to be a Duels. You can't build around it because it's mythic. You only get 1. So it's not worth it to do anything about your deck suboptimally to have Delirium. Now that said, I still want to play with it. This is like a card that Peepy and I had a pretty long I call it an argument. I think that's fair. We disagreed very strongly over this card, and I probably still do. I am a fan, and that's probably not going to change no matter what people try to convince me of, and I'll probably put in my black decks. And I think it's a good card. He thinks it's, probably going to cost you 4 life and lose you the game plenty of times, and he's probably not wrong. I do want to ever after this thing really bad. I want to reanimate it. I want it to flip over cards that I can reanimate. It's the kind of card that makes me miss my. I want my Satyr Wayfinder back, and all I've got is this 4/5 trample flyer. So I am down with this card. I'm really excited to try it out. Peepy thinks you shouldn't play it and it's hot garbage, and who knows? He could be right, and I'm not going to fight that too hard, but man, I am excited to try it. It's on my list of things to try, and I'm sure I'm not alone.
Here's another card I am going to mispronunciate because I can't read it. Mork Nut Necropod.
I'm sorry, say that again? Mork Nut?
Mork Nut.
Mork Nut?
What's that actually say?
It's Mork Rut. Rut. But you're really close. I like Mork Nut.
Mork Nut Necropod. 6 mana for 7/7 minutes, and it attacks or blocks, sacrifice another creature or a land. That card sucks so bad, don't play it.
Yeah, please don't. Anybody who taps 6 mana and casts this is going to be shamed pretty hard. Right up until the time I lose to it because I suck at Magic. But I'm still going to shame all the way down.
Alright, we have Murderous Compulsion, 1 and a black, sorcery, destroy target tapped creature, madness for 1 and a black.
Interesting card. A cheaper Assassinate and with a potential for instant speed might be playable. Wouldn't surprise me.
I think here's the thing. When I see a card that I like, I always do what Brad Nelson says to do, and he says, look at the artwork. If you like the artwork, it's good. And this has Brian Kibler on it, therefore I like it a lot.
The chat says
Kibler.
Mark's nut has gone all necropod. He had to have it removed. That's insensitive to people out there with necro nuts, dude.
Yeah, I like Murderous Compulsion. I think the card's good.
Yeah, Murderous Compulsion is a good card. Compulsion. Oh, you are winning so hard tonight. I love you. You're awesome. You're awesome, dude. Don't worry about it. Don't sweat it.
Olivia's... Jesus Christ, no. Olivia's... I don't even know what that says. Olivia's Bloody Worm?
Blood sworn, not bloody horn.
Bloody.
Oh, we're getting to the loopy part, you guys. We're getting loopy up in here.
One in a black for a 2/1 flyer. Olivia Bloody Horn can't block. You pay red, and target vampire gains haste until end of turn. Sure, if you're playing vampires, go ahead and play this card. I'm not a fan. It's not for me.
Agreed. I don't even think it's one of the better vampires, but I think for sure we're going to see it pretty often in lieu of having the mythic vampires that are good being too mythic. So, yeah.
Rancid Rats, 1 in a black for a 1/1 Skulk Death Touch. Card's garbage. Don't play it. Rotted Hulk, 3 in a black for a 3/5 vanilla creature. Don't play it. Card's
that would be a 2/5, but who's counting?
It's even worse.
It
I'm
is.
not even going to try to read that card. I am not even trying. What's that? Okay. All right.
Dodges Reprisal, dodges Languish, OP.
Sanitarium Skeleton.
Yep.
Did it?
Did it.
1 black for a 1/2 skeleton. 1 in a black. Return it from your graveyard to your hand. That card sucks. Don't play it.
Yeah, pass.
Sinister Concoction. Yeah, Sinister Concoction. 1 black enchantment. Pay a black, pay 1 life, put the top card of your library in your graveyard, discard a card, sacrifice it, destroy target creature. I like this card.
You do? I thought you were making fun of me for liking this card.
No, I like it.
Okay, cool. I also think that this card is good, has some, like, kind of fringe stuff going on. I'll never play all 3, you know. 2 at the most, probably just 1 if it makes the cut. But yeah, you kill something, you get some cards in the graveyard. It's very low opportunity cost. You know, probably easier to use than Bone Splinters. So yeah, I'm behind it.
Stallion of Ashmouth, 3 in a black for 3/3. If you have Delirium, you do some stupid shit. It gets +1/+1. Don't play it. It's garbage. Next card. All right. Way to go, Delirium. You're the next cohort.
It's winning so hard.
Stromkirk Mentor. 3 in a black for 4/2. When it enters the battlefield, you put a +1/+1 counter on another vampire. This vampire is not even good enough. Yeah, bad.
Garbage.
Throttle.
Garbage.
4 to black. Instant speed. Target creature gets -4/-4. So would you rather pay 2 mana to do that or 5? You let me know in the comments. We're gonna go to the next card.
Demon's Grasp is already like taking over the meta, completely OP, and this is just the evolution of Demon's Grasp. So
for sure.
there's that.
Tooth Collector. Tooth Collector. 2 to black for 3/2. When it enters the battlefield, give a creature -1/-1. Delirium at the beginning of your upkeep, you give a creature -1/-1. It's not bad. Card's pretty garbage though.
He's a 3/2. Yeah, it's an okay reason to have Delirium. It's not the worst Delirium card, but it's hard to get -1/-1 to pay off as a card, right? So most of the time you're just kind of weakening their board, if that. It's not bad, but it's definitely not something I'm going to go out of my way to make work. And that's the problem with the Delirium card so far. There's no payoff big enough yet to make you say, I need me Delirium. I need some Delirium in my deck.
Twins of Mara Estate, 4 and a black for 3/5 with Madness for 2 and a black. Don't play this card. Next. Vessels.
Hold on. I gotta open a can of worms. I was listening to a podcast today, and I think it was DJ saying that this Dodging Languish with that 5 toughness made it a really good card. Reflect.
Vessel. Malignity.
No, you got it. Malagity. Vessel of Malagity. Taking it to that Malagity.
Malagity, dude.
Malagity. I come from Malagity. I surf out there in Malagity.
1 in a black enchantment. Oh, Jesus. For 1 in a black, you can sacrifice it. Target opponent exiles top 2 cards from his or her library. Activate this ability only once, so you can cast the sorcery. This card sucks. Oh, his or her hand. Still sucks.
Exile 2 cards. You're putting 4 mana in, if I see that right.
Yeah.
Let's see. You do get to time it, but it's even opponent, so you don't get to turn on Madness. And you can only use it as a sorcery. Yeah. I'm not feeling it. I mean, it can be bonkers on that Reflector Mage. We haven't said Reflector Mage in a minute.
Yeah, that's true. Absence Judgment. We're in red cards now. Woo!
Woo!
For 1
Closing
red,
in on the end.
Absence Judgment. Absence Judgment deals 2 damage divided as you choose among any number of target creatures and/or players of Absence Judgment. Madness costs pays. It deals X damage divided among any number of target creatures or players. This card is great. It replaces Twin Bolt. This card is good. Play it. Sweet. Yay.
Yeah, man. Totally right on that. If you have a Madness Enabler, it's fantastic. If not, you may as well use it instead of Twin Bolt. I know it's a sorcery, but I mean, if there's any way that you can discard it and use it, you're just in the gravy train. That's a lot of effect. I'm really into that effect.
Blood Mad Vampire. 2 to
You did it.
red for 4/1. When it deals combat damage to a player, put a +1/+1 counter on it. It has Madness for 1 in a red. I don't care about this card.
I like this card.
Okay.
I think that the plebs will like this card even more than I do, and I think you're going to see it more than it deserves. But that said, it's a 4/1. I'm actually, for whatever reason, a little bit excited to mess around with. The idea of getting in there and just having like a 5/2 and just like paving the way for it, just cracking people with it. I like it. And I probably don't have a good reason to it. I don't think it's because it's good. I think it's because I don't know. I want to get in there with what was it called? Giant Subterfuge or the Insect
Giant
4/1
Subterfuge.
haste? Yeah, I want me that card back. Bringing it back.
2 Hybrid Gruul. Yeah.
Yeah, Hybrid Gruul.
Giant
That's what I
Subterfuge,
want.
yeah.
That's what I want.
Breakneck Rider. 1 red for 3/3 at the beginning of each upkeep. If no spells were cast last turn, transform it. It transforms into a 4/4 that says attacking creatures you control get +1/+0 and trample. I think is what it does. And this card's good. If Mono Red's still alive, this card will be played in it. This card's sweet. And this will be played in the werewolf decks. This card's sweet.
So this is our first werewolf. Is that true?
Yeah.
All right. So we're breaking out the werewolves. let's see. It's interesting to me to find out how good werewolves will be, and how many times you can just catch opponents, with their tapped lands, trying to get their mana together, or just playing awkward duels curves, unable to cast spells. Right? It may be more frequently than we're used to in standard. And if that's the case, it could be that werewolves are better here than they are in maybe even in some limiteds. So I'm just curious to see what happens with werewolves and how easy it is to flip them. And this is one of the better werewolves. And if you're going to try the werewolf deck or play the mono red, there's a lot of good uses for this card. This is it's not like a broken card. It's still very reflector mageable, but you keep it on the list. I don't think it's great. I think it'll be fine probably.
This card also will just keep playing mono red list. So
am I going to lose you? Are you falling asleep over there? The next time I don't hear you,
fine.
you're going to be asleep on the desk.
No, I just yawned.
Alrighty.
Convicted Killer is a 2 and a red for a 2/2. At the beginning of each upkeep from those spells cast last turn, transform it. I do believe it just transforms into a vanilla 4/3. I don't care about this card. Next.
If it transforms into vanilla, I'm just disappointed. Like, why? Give us something cool.
Yeah.
We transformed a werewolf. We're supposed to be excited.
Devil's Playground. 4 red. Put 4 1/1 white, or put 4 1/1 red devil creature tokens on the battlefield. They have when this creature dies, it deals 1 damage to target creature or player. I could care less about this card.
I think this card is bad. I don't just brush
bad.
things off like that often, but I think this card is bad.
Next card, Ember Eye Wolf. 1 in a red for a 1/2 haste. 1 in a red. Ember Eye Wolf gets +2/+7 until end of turn. As sad as it may be, this might be playable in mono red.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, it's a dude. It has haste, and it can give itself big. It can make itself bigger. Like, it's bad, but mono red's bad. So there's that.
I don't see it. I really don't think this one should be played. I think it's too much to ask. I think it's too little for the mana.
Ember Beast. We have a 2 in a red for a 3/4. It can't attack or block alone. It might be played. That's as sad as it is.
Yeah, that is, but I don't think it'll make it. This is another one that I also just don't think it is going to be making the cut anytime soon. That's my opinion.
Yeah. The cards are bad, but there's just a shot. Fiery Temper. 1 red. Instant speed. Deal 3 damage to target creature or player. Madness for 1 red. This card is great.
This card is, I think it's good. I think that if Madness deck is a thing, this is going to be one of the drivers for it, and it could be great. I'm not sure that Madness deck is a good thing. I have to see it before I'm going to buy it. So right now, I think Fiery Temper is just all right.
Well, here's the thing: you just play this in your blue-red decks, and you just don't care, and you just Jace this, and you just Madness them, and Lightning Bolt something. This card's just fine, even if you're not if you don't have a lot of ways.
Uh-oh. Think we lost him. But I mean, my take on that would be how many natural discard effects do you have in a Madness deck like that? And I'm not sold yet that it's going to be a big thing. Obviously, Lightning Axe, that's, the super combo. And I do think that will happen. Hey, welcome back. So, yeah. Obviously, Fiery Temper is going to see play. I'm not diving in on it. I don't know. I'm not sold.
The card's good.
All right.
Flameblade Angel. 4 red, 4/4 flyer. Whenever a sorcerer or opponent deals combat damage to you or a permanent you control, we may have Flameblade Angel deal 1 damage. This card sucks.
This card is pretty bad. It's got an ability that'll excite some people, but it shouldn't. It's a bad rate. It's not doing quite what you need from your 6th spot in red.
Yeah. Alright, so, next card, we're just gonna, from now on, whenever I see a bad card, I'm just gonna call it bad, we're just gonna go. Gastoff Arsonist, 4 in a red, at the beginning of each upkeep from no spells were cast last turn, transform it, it's 5/4, it flips into a vanilla creature, card's bad.
Bad.
Gaia Reach Bandit, 2 in a red for 3/2 haste, at the beginning of each upkeep if no spells were cast last turn, transform it, it transforms into a 4/3 with trample, and then it says, no, it just transforms into a 4/3. And then it says, whenever a human wolf creature in this battlefield transformed. This card is awesome.
This card is crazy. This
This
so what
card
do you
is
think?
awesome.
Does it need to be in a werewolf deck? Can it just be an A deck? What do you think?
No, it can just be in a red aggro deck.
Yeah,
It's
man.
a
3
3-mana 3/2 haste. It's fine.
strict upgrade on whatever that lightning thingy is.
Yep.
Whatever that dumb piece of trash is. But yeah, a 3/2 haste alone gets there, you know, better than a chasm guide for your ally people. And the werewolf effect of entering transformed, I think I have to play with that happening to figure out if it's if it's really, you know, a benefit that's worth building anything for. You know, if it's worth
I
throwing
think so.
some things in there. Yeah. Like what was the rider? The broke neck rider, broke back mountain rider,
Breakneck rider.
broke back rider.
Yeah, oh yeah.
When he comes down with his buddy the bandit, he's already that 5/3 with an anthem effect. So that's pretty sick. You know,
Yep.
that's pretty sick. So
Next card we have Geist Blast. It's 2 in a red, instant speed. Geist Blast deals 2 damage to target creature or player. For 2 in a blue, you can exile from your graveyard, copy target sorcery speed, instant or sorcery spell you control. You may choose new targets for that copy. This card's sweet.
So what do you want to copy? I think that's the breaker, right? Because you're paying not a great rate for the 2 damage. So what are you copying that makes it sweet?
The problem with this card is like the reason why I call this card sweet. I'm not saying this card's good in duels. This is probably the best fork they've printed in a long time in Magic. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I definitely feel you on
cards
that.
like Replicate. You have like cards like Replicate and Twin Cast. This card's just better than those cards, and it's an uncommon, so it surprised me. So I like the card, just for that reason. I don't think it's playable in duels. So.
Aw,
That's what you were
bummer
asking.
sauce. Okay.
Yeah. Incorrigible Youths. 3 red for a 4/3 haste, madness, 2 in a red. This card's fine.
I think it's in duels, if you live the dream and you hit it on turn 3, you got something going. I think that's going to be the exception to the rule. I think most of the time it's a bad card. That's my opinion. I think most of the
That's
time,
fair.
I think a lot more than not, it's a bad card, and I'm not into it. It's not for me. The incorrigible ones will get tested, but I just like looking at the set right now. It's not really the kind of strategy I want to be all in on with the options we have, because we got some good options, dude. We got some good options.
Yep, we have Inner Struggle, 3 in a red. Target creature deals damage equal to itself, equal to its power. Card's bad. We
Bad.
have Insolent Neonate. 1
Necronate.
red for a 1/1.
Necronut.
It has Menace. You can discard a card, sacrifice it, and draw a card. This card's fine.
This card
card's
is better than a salvage drone. It's an interesting little dork. The right home. I mean, he's a madness enabler all on his own at very low opportunity cost. So yeah, I'm gonna be curious to see what he fits in. It's not an automatic for me of how to build him, but he is one of the good things about building a madness deck. I think better than some of the other cards we're gonna come to. Like, well, no, not the ones we're gonna come to, but some of the cards we already passed that would enable madness. I think he's one of the better ones.
Yeah, for sure. We have Kessig Forge Master. It's a 2 mana, red and colorless. For an uncommon, 2/1. When it becomes blocked or it is blocked, it deals 1 damage to that creature. At the beginning of your upkeep, if no spells were cast last turn, you flip it. It becomes a 3/2 and it deals 2 damage instead. So the card's sweet. Nothing else need to be said about that. It's a werewolf. You'll play it in your werewolf deck. We have Lightning Axe, 1 red mana. As an additional cost of casting Lightning Axe, you have to discard a card or pay 5 mana. It deals 5 damage to target creature. This card is sweet. You will play it. This card is good.
Yeah, Lightning Axe, it kind of stands alone, right, as one of the premier like blowout madness cards for sure.
Yes, for sure. We have Pyre Hound, 3 in a red. Trample, 2/3. Whenever you cast into a sorcery spell, put a +1/+1 counter on it. This card sucks. Ravenous Bloodseeker, 1 in a red for a 1/3. Discard a card, then you give it +2/-2. This card's fine. This is like a card you'll use in your aggro deck to trigger your madness. This card's fine.
I don't know if it's fine. I just feel like it's gonna get brick walled really easy. Like, I don't know. I don't know how much work it's gonna get done.
It's one of those cards that you'll have to play just because you have nothing better to do. We
Man,
have
if you're gonna
reduced
play
acid,
Madness, yeah.
ashes. We have reduced ashes. It's 4 in the red. Reduced ashes deals 5 damage to target creature. If that creature would die this turn, exile it. This card's bad. We have Rush of
Bad.
Adrenaline. 1 red. Target creature gets +2/+1 and gains trample until end of turn. This is for your blue-red prowess decks. Scourge Wolf is a red 2/2 first striker that never has double strike. It's
Never.
for the aggro decks. It's for the aggro decks, I guess.
But I think it's good for the aggro
Seamless
decks.
Rage. It's alright, yeah. It's a fine guy. Seamless Rage, 1 in a red, enchant creature gets +2/+2 and has madness for 1 in a red. I'm just not impressed.
Yeah, neither am I. There were better combat
One
tricks
second,
that we talked about already.
I have to blow my nose, 1 second.
But you gotta be psyched about prowess, right? I mean, yeah, like Bronze is saying here, that prowess is gonna be pretty interesting, but that's not one of the cards. Titan Strength and the one that gets Trample. Like, those are the two that I'm looking on. I think it was called Brute Force. That's where I'm going with that. And I'm pretty happy about it. I'm more happy about prowess than vampires by far. I don't see vampires beating prowess.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Me
That's
neither.
the big thing for me. It looks so bad on paper for vampires.
Okay, let's see. The next card, blip, is a bad werewolf. Ulrich something, Kindred. 2 in a red for a 3/2 trampler. You pay 3
Did you skip the Masquerade?
and... Oh yeah, sorry, my bad.
Dude, that card's crazy. If there's a vampire thing, that card's nuts.
Alright.
Go ahead and hit the people.
It's Masquerade, 2 in a red, enchantment, attacking creatures you control have first strike. Whenever a vampire you control deals combat damage to a player, put a +1/+1 counter on it, and it has madness for 2 in red. Yeah, this card's sweet.
Dude, if you have a madness enabler so that you can play this at instant speed, and you go into combat, like, how do they win? They don't win. If they block, you gain first strike, and their creatures die. If they don't block, all your creatures get buffed, and it's an enchantment, so it's on the table next turn and the turn after that. I think the card is... I mean, if there's a vampire deck, you want that in there, right? I was wrong before with Retreat to Valakut. That was something I, once upon a time, like a moron, was excited about. But this card seems a lot better than that. A lot better than that.
Yeah, this is... I guess it works perfectly with a curve for Ravenous Bloodseeker. You go
Yeah.
Ravenous into this?
Sure, yeah. Or even, even later in the game, it's not useless. Anytime you have attackers, it's a good card.
So, we're going to skip the werewolf because we read it. The card's bad. Don't worry about it.
Read it.
We have Vessels of Volatility. It's 1 in a red. Enchantment. You can pay 1 in a red, sacrifice it, add 4 red to your mana pool. What do you think?
So this is 5 mana on turn 3, and it's 6 mana on turn 4. So kind of a double ramp spell. Skip 2 spots in your curve. That's good. In my experience, getting to skip 1 spot on the curve in duels can be a big game. Like I was saying with Warping Whale and just making a Scion, or just casting like a Outland Colossus a turn early. 2 spots is a big deal. I'm not sure how many one can play. Maybe it's really like a 1 or a 2 of in a ramp deck, and I have to test it. But that's where I want to start. I'm curious what you got to say on this
Absolutely.
one.
I agree.
Absolutely. He's all on that.
That's exactly where I'm at with this card.
With a colorless source,
it
it's a
was
turn
sweet.
3 Reality Smasher. With a colorless source. I mean, that's... What are you going to do?
Yeah,
Just going to get your reality smashed.
So we have something Duelist. It's a 3 in a red for a 3/2 haster. When it enters the battlefield, target
Boldarnin.
creature can't block this turn. Card's bad, but it could see play. You never know.
I don't like the 2 toughness. Not for 4 mana. That's pushing
Yeah.
the kind of rate where I just say, nah, next.
We have Wolf of Devil's Breach. 3 red for a 5/5. Whenever it attacks, you can pay 1 in a red and discard a card. If you do, Wolf of Devil's Breach deals damage to target creature or planeswalker equal to the discarded card's converted cost. This card sucks.
Are you kidding? This is an elemental wolf. That means you get that Omnath death trigger. That means you get all them green wolf synergy that's coming up. No, this card's bad. This card
Yeah,
is a
this card
ridiculously bad mythic. Even in the Madness deck, I think you'll be hard pressed to get the play out of it that you need. And I'm kind
This
of.
is your red
Ugh.
Avaricious Dragon.
There you go. Yeah. Except Dragon's probably better.
Yep. Alright. Cult of the Wandering Moon. 4 in a green for 5/4. Whenever a permanent you control transforms into a non-human creature, put a 2/2 green wolf creature token on the battlefield. I feel this fits what the 4 mana 3/3 elf did, although the elf creature was better.
Yeah.
The master,
know.
the whatever.
Yeah. The Huntmaster of the Fells. There
No,
is
no. I'm talking about the card that's in this game, the Beast, the Lion War Beastmaster, whatever. It's a 2 and a green for a 3/3 that says whenever you cast an elf, you get a 1/1 elf.
Oh, Huntmaster. Lissalana.
Yeah, that card.
I don't know.
We skipped
I'm
2
just
cards,
not
so we have to go
I'm
back
not
real
feeling
quick.
that card.
We have
We got to do it.
we have
We got to do
Byway-
it. We got to be correct.
Byway Courier, 2 and a green for a 3/2. When it dies, investigate. This card sucks. Confront the unknown. Green. Investigate. Then target creature gets +1/+1 in the end of turn. You get for each clue you control. This card was good and limited, but in this game it sucks. Okay, now we're back to Call of the something moon.
Thanks for keeping us honest.
Yeah, I don't think the card's good enough. I don't think the card's good enough, but it's interesting.
5 mana, too much, right? I mean, that's
Yep.
That's a 5/4. Reflector Mage, bitches. Bounces to
Yep.
Reflector Mage. It's the new Doomblade.
Alright, next card. Deathcap Cultivator. 1 and a green for a 2/1 human druid rare. Tap, add black and a green to your mana pool. Holy titties. Delirium, it gains Death Touch. This is a 2 mana dork, and that's good enough for this game, and it's good enough for Ramp. Ramp likes it, Ramp wants it.
Ramp needs it. It is so nice to have mana dorks in the game, something I wondered if I'd ever see, and this is a good dork. It's not Llanowar Elves, but apparently that will never happen again. But yes, you do want to play this in your Ramp deck, you want to play it in your Black
said
Green
that right,
Value
Justice.
decks. You just want it all up in there. You want that all over. And yeah, it is mana fixing for black and green, and that's a big deal. It's awesome. It might be one of the top 10 cards. Just for what it can do, what it brings.
We have Dusk Watch Recruiter, 1 in the green for a 2/2. For 2 in the green, you can look at the top 3 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature card from among them and put that card in your hand. Put the rest of the bomb in your library in any order. At the beginning of each upkeep, if no spells were cast last turn, transform it. I'm not sure what the flip side does. I know it does something sweet. This card is awesome.
I think it's like a 4/3 and your creature, or no, it's a 3/3 and your creature spells cost 1 less to cast. So it finds you a creature, then it discounts your creature. This card is sweet.
Yeah.
I'm gonna love it in several
awesome.
decks. That green-white deck you were talking about might really enjoy this.
Yep.
Yep.
You don't need this to be a werewolf deck for this card to see play.
Yeah, absolutely. You can play this in red-green. Maybe not ramp, or maybe in ramp. I mean, you got to find those critters somehow. This is a mana sink. I mean, there's just a lot of potential for it, and I'm going to look forward to seeing where it slots in and how it does.
Yep. Next card. Something skill, 3 in a green. This card sucks.
Equestrian skill.
Target creature gets +3/+3. If it's a human, it has trample. Don't play it. It's bad.
Not good.
Fork in the Road. 1 in a green. Sorcery. Search your library for up to 2 basic lands. 1 in your hand, 1 in your graveyard. This card's pretty bad too, but it fuels Delirium, I guess.
But wouldn't you rather have a Sylvan Ranger or a Ruin in their wake? One of those two. I think so. I don't think this measures up. Don't play it.
Yep. Hermit of the Necronauts. 2 in a green for a 2/3. Whenever an opponent casts a spell during your turn, draw a card. Beginning of each upkeep, if no spells were cast last turn, transform it. Transforms into a 4/3, and it says whenever your opponent casts a spell on your turn, you draw 2 cards. This is insane. This is the werewolf you want. This is a werewolf you play. This card's awesome.
This is an interesting card.
Uh,
I'm not as high on it as you are. I'll have to. This is something I think I have to play with to feel, but it's a interesting ability and one that I like. So I look forward to trying it out. Do I still have my peeps?
we have Hinterland. Yeah, I was just chewing a Kit Kat.
Right on. You
We
get that
have,
Kit Kat. We need some
Hinterland.
energy. You need some sugar.
Yeah, dude. We have Hinterland Logger. It's a 1 and a green for a 2/1. The beginning of each upkeep of no spells were cast last turn. Transform it. It transforms into a 4/2 with trample.
I don't like the
Playable.
2 toughness.
It's playable.
It is, but I mean,
playable.
there's got to be better. I mean, now you got Sylvan Advocate in that spot. You got Duskwatch Recruiter in that spot, and you got Cultivator, Deathcap Cultivator, all in that 2 spot, right? So I don't see it. I think it's a lot worse than those cards, like significantly worse.
We have Howlpack Resurgence, 2 and a green. It's a flash enchantment, uncommon. Each creature you control that's a werewolf or a wolf gets +1/+1 and has trample. This is sweet.
Werewolf Synergy.
This is what makes your werewolf deck playable, so you play it.
Ow! That's what I got to say.
We have Blob. It's a 2 and a green for a 3/3.
That would be an
This is-
incorrigible blob. I'm trying to see.
This
I
will
can't
be
see
the
it.
best. This will be the best. This is the best Delirium card we've seen so far. Whenever it attacks, if there are 4 more card types among cards in your graveyard, you put a 3/3 green ooze creature token on the battlefield, tapped and attacking. Ooh, excuse me.
Get
That
it?
card's sweet.
Yeah, this card is sweet. This is something I really have to play with, just to kind of feel if that is a doable thing. If you can gather the pack, get your Delirium together, and start cloning this, it's gonna be pretty sick. It's gonna be pretty sick. I'm gonna love it.
I want to play it in Aristocrats too. It seems fine.
Amen.
Intrepid Provisioner, 3 and a green for 3/3 trample. When it is a battlefield, another target human you control gets +2/+2 until end turn. This card sucks. Don't play it.
Nope.
Landholm Pacifist, 1 and a green. 1 and a green for 3/3. It can't attack unless you control a creature with power 4 or greater. And then it flips into a 4/4. This card's sweet.
In Duels is I do think that you drop this as just like a 3/3 wall, and it is a problem for any kind of an aggressive deck. Yeah. This is actually I think this is another good 2-drop in what's becoming a really crowded slot in green, which is a big deal because good 2-drops and good 3-drops are kind of the gaping hole in a lot of decks right now. So green is getting some good sauce. It's going to be interesting to see what you pair it with. Does it go with red? Does it go with white, like you say? Is there something in blue? And this card is more of a part of that. It's a brick wall, man.
Yep.
It's going to be a headache.
Yep. Next card. Also, if you just play this on turn 2, and then the next turn you play Always Watching, it can attack. So and it has
Ta-da!
defense.
Did it.
So did it.
Did it. Any kind of pump did it.
Yep. Might be on reason. 3 and a green. Put 2 +1/+1 counters on a target creature, and then Delirium 3 counters. No one cares. 1 and a green for a 0/4 wall fungus creature. Delirium, it gets +3/+0. I don't care about this card.
Undid it.
Yep. Obsessive Skinner. I've never read this card. Hold on. 1 and a green for a 1/1. When it enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Oh gosh. At the beginning of each upkeep, opponent's upkeep, if there are fewer than 4 cards among card types in your graveyard, put a +1/+1. So it's a strict upgrade to that really unplayable green common.
Timberland Guide just got the memo. His time is up. This card's time is now. If you're in the market for that kind of thing. Hustle, loyalty, respect, John Cena.
Time is now. Alright, Pack Guardian, 2 green, flash, wolf spirit. Wolf spirit, didn't know that was a wolf. Way better. When Pack Guardian enters the battlefield, you may
Oh.
discard a land card. If you do, put a 2/2 green wolf creature token on the battlefield. It's 4/3. This card is sweet.
This card is really cool. Even without a land to discard, this card can do work. And
Yeah, this card's
I've got
awesome.
I feel like its rate is really good for duels. I was more hyped about it when we were checking it out a few weeks ago. Now that I've seen all the things you can do in this set at that mana cost, I'm not sure how many you want or even like how many I want to run. But this is still a really interesting card for the slot for green.
For sure.
It's got flash. It's more of that flash action. There's a lot of flash all of a sudden. Like attacking into open mana just got even more treacherous than when we only worried about bounding Krasis.
Alright, so we got Quilted Wolf. It's a 1 green 2/2. For 4 mana, you can give it +4/+4 until a turn. This card sucks.
Boo!
Rabid Bite, 1 green. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control. The card's mediocre.
Kills Gaia's Revenge.
Yeah. Sage of Ancient Lore. No, it doesn't.
Yeah. Target creature you
Targets.
control deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control. It kills Gaia's Revenge if you have a 5-power creature, and if you're playing green without those, you're doing it wrong.
No, you have to. Oh, Guy's Revenge says it has to be a green card that targets it. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Anyway, Sage of Ancient Lore, 5 mana, star, its power and toughness equal number of cards in your hand. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card. Beginning your upkeep, no spells were cast last turn. You transform it. I don't know what it transforms into. I don't remember.
It transforms into an
card's fine.
XX. Cards, its power and toughness become equal to the number of cards in all players' hands.
Oh, the card's fine. It's alright.
I don't want to pay 5 mana
It's
to
like-
draw a card
No,
and
but
have
if you're
like
playing
a
werewolves,
medium power
you'll play
creature.
this.
Sure, if you're playing werewolves, but I don't know if you should be playing werewolves and playing 5 mana cards equal to stuff in hand, draw cards, stuff. I think this card is.
Anyway.
I don't think this card is that good. That's what I'm saying.
No, it's not. It's not that good. I said it's mediocre. It's alright. You'll play it if you're playing werewolves, I think.
I don't think I'll even play it
Silver
then.
for
I'm a hater.
Silver for Partisan. It's a 2 green 2/2 trample wolf warrior. This is the reason why you play werewolves. Whenever a wolf or a werewolf you control becomes the target of an instant or sorcery spell, you put a 2/2 green wolf creature token onto the battlefield. This card's sweet. You play it obviously in your werewolf deck.
It's the payoff.
Next
The only
card.
problem is it's the first target for the removal.
Yep. Solitary Hunter, 3 green for a 3/4. Beginning of upkeep, no spells cast last turn. It transforms into a vanilla creature. This card sucks.
Boo!
Spine Worm, 5 mana for a 5/4. This card sucks.
Boo!
Sonic Builder, it's 2 green, 2/3. When it enters the battlefield, you return target land card from your graveyard to your hand. This card sucks.
Boo! Acid Moss, take that value.
Is a 5 mana 4/5 wolf. It's vanilla. This card sucks.
Boo!
Tireless Tracker, 2 green for a 3/2. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you investigate. Whenever you sacrifice a clue, put a +1/+1 counter on Tireless Tracker. This card is sweet.
This card could be interesting. Yeah, if this sticks around while you're ramping, or just while you're attacking and doing proactive stuff, and then you just end up with a bunch of clues hanging out, you're going to have no trouble rebuilding if the opponent tries to stabilize. It keeps the pressure on.
Yeah.
I like it. This card's a happy card.
I'm a fan of this card. Yep. Uberwald Hydra, 4 green Hydra, star, reach. When its power and toughness are equal to the number of lands you control, it's a mythic. When it enters the battlefield, you can search your library for a land card, put it on the battlefield, tap, shuffle your library. This card is an auto-include in every green deck ever.
And guess what you can get with it?
This-
Well, we'll tell you in a
Westvale
minute.
Abbey. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute.
I mean, I'm probably more likely to get Rogue's Passage, but this card is another awesome ramp bomb.
Yep. We have Uberwald Mysteries, 2 green enchantment. Whenever a non-token creature you control dies, investigate. Whenever you sacrifice a clue, put a 1/1 white human soldier token on the battlefield. This card sucks. You're just working too much to get something to happen, and you're just not gonna make fetch happen, Gretchen. It's just not
Hold up,
happening.
Peepy. I know you're on a rampage. You are like steamrolling these cards, and that's awesome. But like, there is
I'm
a
trying
point
to get to the
I
cooler
want.
ones.
Yeah, I want to just
We got
address
cooler
something
ball,
really
bro.
quick in the chat. I want to address the chat really quick. All right. So it deeply saddens me how many trash cards they are giving us. They always give you trash cards. Every set is full of trash cards. You have to get through the trash cards to get to the goods, and I think we got a lot of good. Like
Bad
I
cards
got more
have to
good than I
exist so
think
we
I
know
got.
what good cards look like.
Yeah, there you go. I thought we got more good cards than I expected. That's where I sit. What do you think of that?
I agree.
Okay, now you can get rolling again.
So-
I just wanted to throw that in there.
Vessel of. Oh no.
Oh
Man
no! Necronut! Vessel of
Vessel of
Necronut.
Necronut. 1 green enchantment. You pay 1 in a green, you sacrifice it, you reveal the top 4 cards of your library, you can put an artifact, creature, enchantment, land, or planeswalker from among them into your hand. This card might be playable.
I think this card isn't. It's no Oath of Nissa, but I think you
No.
can play a few of these cards and be really happy about it. The selection and of course the graveyard shenanigans. I am into this card. This is the one I kind of want to combo with Auramancer to be a total dork. So this is kind of my Timmy card, but it might be legit playable, and it's going to take some. 3 mana sync is a bit much, especially with what you can do with 3 mana now. But it might be good. It might just be a little curve filler, you know? Because you can turn 1, turn 2 it if you had nothing else to do with that time.
Fuels Delirium, dog.
Fuels Delirium. Enables mad... What is it? Enables prowess?
Inexorable Blob. Enables the Blob.
There you go.
Veteran Cathar, 1 green for a 2/2, and you can pay 3 and a white. Target human gains double strike. This card sucks. Next.
Boo!
Invocation of Saint Trapped. 1 white, blue, enchantment aura. Enchant creature has, whenever this creature attacks, put a 4/4 angel creature token with flying onto the battlefield, tapped and attacking. Exile the token at the end of combat. This card is sweet, man. This card's cool. I want a Heliod's Pilgrim for this, and just have all the funds.
Yeah, I don't think it's that. I don't think it's as good. I'm not as high on it as you, but it does take me back to Geist of Saint Traft, which was a happy time.
I should note that I don't think this card is good, but I want to cast it. That's what I'm saying.
There you go. 4/4, brah. It's gonna be good for planeswalker killing. You know what I mean? People who think they're safe with their planeswalker think they can take a hit, and now you have 4, more hasty, evasive damage. Your planeswalker is going down. Down.
For sure. Alright, next card. Anguished Unmaking. 1 white-black instant rare. Exile target non-land permanent. You lose 3 life. This is an auto-include in any black-white deck you play ever. It kills whatever you want whenever you need to. This card is awesome. Awesome.
We were just talking about killing
control,
planeswalkers. Well, now you just tap 3 mana, pay 3 life, and call it a good day, and it's
the job's
gone.
done.
Yeah, it's done. Job's done. You get 2 of them, so it's like your 2 wild cards, right? It's like you're playing poker with a pair of jokers. You got 2 wild cards in your deck that'll get you out of whatever you're facing. And it's a big reason to play black-white.
Yeah, for sure. Next card, Sorin Grim Nemesis. Another reason to play black-white. 4 white and a black, 6 loyalty. +1, you reveal the top card of your library, put that card in your hand. Your opponent each opponent, so much better than 2-head giant, loses life equal to its converted mana cost. -X, Sorin Grim Nemesis deals X damage to target creature or planeswalker, and you gain X life. Then his -9 is put a number of 1/1 black vampire knight creature tokens onto the battlefield with lifelink equal to the highest life total among all players. This card is sweet.
Bananas.
This is a black-white. This card is a black-white top-end control. This card is awesome. This card is amazing. This card does it all. It's the cat's pajamas. It is awesome. Play it. This card is sweet.
Yeah. I'm going to play it, and I'm going to suck the soul out of Chandra. I'm going to suck the soul out of Ob Nixilis. I'm going to suck the soul out of Gideon. They're all going down.
You have this card, Grasp, the 2 board wipes, Anguish Unmaking, Declaration Stone, Kalidas. Like, the deck is there. It's just there.
Hit me with your best shot.
Next card, we have Nahiri, the Harbinger. 2 red and white for foil loyalty, +2. You may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. -2 is exile target exile target enchantment, tapped artifact, or tapped creature. The -8 is search your library for an artifact or creature, put it on the battlefield, then shuffle your library. It gains haste. Return that to your hand at the beginning of the next end step. This card sucks, but like all planeswalkers, it'll see play in duels. This card is not that good. It fuels madness, I guess. But
activates prowess. Activates prowess. This is one of the tougher planeswalkers to evaluate.
Yeah.
It's very situational. It's very kind of dependent. The one thing, since we got Call the Gatewash, is since you got Call the Gatewatch, you can tutor it up when you're facing an enchantment or a tapped creature, and maybe have it at the right time more often than you otherwise would. That's just that's my bit.
Alright, well, next card we have is Prized. Nope, not even trying. 1 blue black for a 3/3 zombie. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield.
Anal gam. Just kidding. I don't know.
If it entered from your graveyard or you cast it from your graveyard, return Prized Anal Gam from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped at the beginning of the next end step. I don't like this card. This card seems bad to me.
Compelling deterrence power. That's about what this card is about.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't like this card.
I gotta play with this card, and I don't know if that'll change my mind. I don't know if it'll change my mind to play with this card.
Fervid Visions. 1 blue to red enchantment. At the beginning of each player's end step, that player draws a card. If the player is your opponent and has fewer or more cards in hand, Fervid Visions deals 2 damage to him or her. This is that tutelage player. I don't care about this card.
That tutelage player's happy.
I could care less.
I mean, I'm surprised we got this card. It's one of those weird cards that I don't think would normally be for us. Thank God we don't get 4 of them, or else this would be like that Owling Mine. If that's a throwback to anybody who remembers Owling Mine, where you had Ebony Nasuki or whatever and killed people with howling mines. So this card's interesting. This could be fun to build a little deck around. I have no idea if it'll be good, and I doubt it will. So, but I'm gonna, this will be one of those late night sessions. It's gonna be a fevered vision session.
We have Altered Ego. It's a green-blue 2, and then X. It's a 0/0. It can't be countered. It's a shapeshifter. You may have it enter the battlefield as a copy of any creature on the battlefield, except it enters the battlefield with X additional +1/+1 counters. This card sucks. I mean, it's just another clone that's harder to cast, and sure, it can be a bigger version, but this card sucks.
I want to play it in my Simic Ramp deck because I'm a nerd for clones. But yeah, it enters the battlefield. Okay, so you can't get any cast triggers off it, so it's not going to mimic the Eldrazi properly. And you never want to be the person with the second Thought-Knot Seer or the second Reality Smasher. So yeah, this isn't where you want to be, I don't think. Not in the format, not in the competitive side of the format.
We have Olivia, mobilized for war, 1 black and a red, 3/3 flyer, legendary creature, vampire mythic. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may discard a card. If you do, put a +1/+1 counter on that creature. It gains haste until end of turn. It becomes a vampire in addition to other types. I don't think vampires is good enough, but this card is good enough just to be in a red-black aggro deck.
Oh, so, yeah. Or if you're going to play, my God, if you're going to play like Jund midrange or red-black Eldrazi, and you can just put this out there and give your Thought-Knot Seer a +1/+1 counter and haste to go with all that.
Yeah,
you give it to your Gitrog monster, which is coming up, or your Outland Colossus. Just giving creatures the haste and the +1/+1. You don't even need madness necessarily. That's gravy. But all by itself, this card is just a house in duels. I mean, with 3/3 flyer for 3 is a house in duels, and that ability, yo.
Alright, I gotta go in 9 minutes, so we gotta steam through these bad boys.
Get it! We're almost there. We got one more page.
It's 3, a green and a black for a 6/6 death touch. At the beginning of your upkeep, you sacrifice a Gitrog monster. Unless you sacrifice a land, you may play an additional land of each of your turns. And whenever one or more lands enters your graveyard from the battlefield, you draw enters the graveyard from anywhere. You draw a card. This card's awesome, super sweet. It's better than it looks. I don't know how good it's gonna be in this game, but I love how they gave us Drownyard Temple. So I'm really excited to sacrifice Drownyard Temple and return it back. Like, it's going to be a lot of fun to play with. The Gitrog monster is going to be really cool. Arlen Cord, I don't know if, do you have anything else to say about the Gitrog monster?
All hail the Gitrog.
Amen. Arlen Cord is a 2, a red and a green, planeswalker with 3 loyalty. +1 is until end of turn, target creature gets +2/+2, vigilance and haste. You can 0 it, you can put a 2/2 green wolf creature on the battlefield. If you do, transform Arlen Cord. Her +1 is, give all creatures you control +1/+1 and trample until end of turn. Her minus ability, lightning bolts something and transforms her back. And then her ultimate is -6, and you give all creatures you control an emblem. You get an emblem saying all creatures you control can tap and deal damage equal to their power to target creature or player. This card is insane. This card's sweet. You're gonna play it when you're playing red green. I mean, any other comments?
I've been so back and forth on this card. The first time I play tested with it, I didn't like it. The second time, I loved it, and now I'm just not quite sure what the right home is. I kind of see a green-red, aggro-ish, wolfy deck that makes better use of her, but she's a one-of, so you don't build around her, so she's got to slot into something existing. Just curious to see what it is.
Just to let you know, Altered Ego enters the battlefield as a copy of the card, so the ETB will trigger. Anyway.
Judge. He's a level judge.
Card,
he's a judge, guys. You don't mess with that. He's a judge.
Brain in the Jar is garbage.
Ta-da! Done. Did it.
Next. Harvest Hand, 3 mana for a 2/2. When it dies, you can return to the battlefield, transform into your control. I don't know what it transforms into. No clue. Not good.
How good could it be?
Alright. Yeah. Haunted Cloak, 3 mana, equipped creature has Vigilance, Trample, Haste, equipped for 1. This card sucks. Murderer's Axe, 4 mana, equipped creature gets +2/+2. Equip, discard a card. That card sucks.
Equipping things is bad, okay? Is there
Never
any good
to
equipment
Heirloom?
here? Is there any good equipment here?
Maybe. I don't know. 1 mana, equipped creature gets +1/+1. Equipped creature transforms, equip it, equip for 1. That card sucks. Skeleton Key, 1 mana equipment. Equipped creature has Skulk. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. That's not the worst. It equips for 2. It probably won't see play, but maybe.
Probably
I don't
not.
know. Slayer's Plate, 3 mana, equipped creature gets +4/+2. When an equipped creature dies, if it was a human, put a 1/1 white spirit creature token flying on the battlefield, equipped for 3. That card's fine, super mediocre, wouldn't play it. Tamio's Journal, 5 mana, legendary artifact. Beginning your upkeep, investigate. You can tap, sacrifice 3 clues, search your library for a card, put that card in your hand, then shuffle your library. I like this card. This card's sweet.
It could be fun in those grindy control decks that can make the time for it. I don't think it's very good, but I think it's fun.
It's not good. It's fun. It's a card that I'm going to play with because it's fun.
There you
Draven
go.
Gargoyle, 1 mana, 2/2, Defender, 6 mana, transforms into a 4/2 flyer. Not bad, I guess.
Interesting for 1 mana, right? That's weird. Like that cost is interesting all by itself.
Yep. Wildfield Scarecrow, 3 mana for a 1/4 Defender artifact creature. You can pay 2 mana, sacrifice it, search your library for up to 2 basic land cards, reveal them, put them in your hand, shuffle your library. This card's bad, but if you're playing like a 5-color jank deck, I guess this card will work.
Yeah, scarecrows are generally not where you want to be, but sometimes you just live the dream on those scarecrow decks. I mean, it's fun.
Yeah.
This is another card that I'll play, like maybe in a weird aristocrats thing.
We have Warped Landscape. It's a land. You can tap, add colorless to your mana pool. You can pay 2 mana.
Whoa,
tap
you missed
it,
the temple.
sacrifice it.
You missed Drownyard Temple.
Oh, did I miss?
Yeah.
Oh, no, we talked about it already.
Oh, okay. So you're just like rolling off that. You're off
Drownyard Temple. Drownyard Temple is you tap, you pay, you add a color to your mana pool. You can pay 3 mana and return it from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Card's really sweet. I just like it with the Gitrog monster. It's gonna be awesome.
I don't think people know
I
that it's ramp. If you discard it to Jace on turn 3, and you can pay 3 mana and put it into play and untap with 5 mana. Like, you can ramp that if you can get it in your yard.
Yeah, the card's sweet. I'm very excited to play with it.
Yeah.
You have Warped Landscape. You can tap, add a colorless to your mana pool. You can pay 2, tap it, sacrifice it, search for a basic land, put it on the battlefield tapped. This just fixes your mana. This card's pretty bad.
I call this
You're not
junk.
going to play this.
No way.
Yeah, you're
I'm
not
not
going to play
playing
this
that.
card. The last card happens to be the best card in Shadows of Innistrad, in my opinion. Like, the best card for Constructed, and I think one of the best cards for this game. I think this card will be in a 2 of every single deck.
Yeah, every deck.
The 2-color deck. Like, the 3-color decks will try to force it. It's so good, but it'll literally be in every other deck. Like, literally as a 2 of.
And you will literally just
Abbey.
be sweating this every time your opponent has 5 creatures out. Every time.
Yep. Westville Abbey is a land that taps for a colorless. You can pay 5 mana, you lose a life, and you put a 1/1 white and black human cleric creature token onto the battlefield. Then you pay 5, sacrifice 5 creatures, transform Westville Abbey, then untap it. It is a 9/8 indestructible flying haste lifelink creature. Well played. You're dead.
Boom. Nice game you got. Nice game we had here.
Yeah.
Hope you got an
Westville
Anguish
Abbey
on
is the
making.
best card in Shadows for sure.
Oh wait, it's a land.
The card's insane. It'll just be a 2 of in literally every 2-color deck ever. The card's insane. The card's nuts.
Yeah.
Play
The card needs nothing to make it good. It does it all on its own. You can make your own army, or you can just drop it when you have an army of, say, Thopters, and just go for it. And just live the dream. 9/7 your face, you know? Lifelink. Oh my god. Like, the game's over for red, or any kind of burn you out strategy. It ended. Unbelievable. I can't believe we got it. So that's the end of the list, dude. We got so many good cards. Any final thoughts before you go? I know you gotta go. We've been on here a minute.
How long was that?
I don't know. I'll let you know when I see the videos. That'll be kind of when I find out.
The reason why I gotta go is because if I don't give myself a time limit, I have to study for an exam tonight. I have an exam tomorrow at 4 p.m.
Okay.
So
man.
I have to study for it, and I haven't studied for it yet. So I have to study for it.
Well, dude.
But yeah, dude. What were you saying?
I was gonna say, any final thoughts, and plug your channel again if you want to.
Final thoughts. I think if you can't afford all the cards and you wonder which set you should open up first, open up Oath of the Gatewatch. Open it. It is just builds some of the more absurd decks. Like, if you like flavor and being silly, then Shadows of Innistrad's for you. But if you want to just annihilate your opponent, Oath of the Gatewatch is the place. I like both sets. Both sets are good. Both sets have very, very strong cards. My favorite deck to play with, I guarantee you now, I will never get tired of playing it, is the Get Rog Monster deck. I will constantly try to find that card and play it, and then just do shenanigans. Really excited. If you guys would do me a favor, go over to my Twitch channel, TibbleTown95, and go ahead and give me a follow. That would be very awesome. I had a lot of fun. Thanks for letting me do this with you, and I gotta go. So.
Right on. Later, dude. Thank you.
I appreciate it. See you later, man.
See ya. Yeah, that was Peepy Squeeps, aka Tibalt95. If you were into what he's throwing down, you can go check out his channel. He and I have kind of a Jekyll and Hyde relationship. He's like my evil brother or evil twin or something. I'm kind of the PG. He's a little more out there, ridiculous, really funny guy. But he does know a lot of stuff. He knows what he's talking about for a lot of things, and I love shooting. I love just shooting ideas off him and figuring out, just kind of talking magic. It's really fun for me. So I have also been on here a really long time. Hey Babs, how you doing? You want Tamio's journal? You got it. Did you see the list, Babs? Like, the actual list is out of what we get. Did you check that out? Anyway, that's what we've been going down. You know, every card that we've been talking about today on here is a card that we're actually getting in the set that comes out on Wednesday. So it's been really fun to talk about. I personally think we got more power and more great cards than I expected. We didn't get just all the filler junk as we often have in the past. So I think that's really great. What cards... I'm going to hang in here for just a little more. I do want to go eat, spend time with my wife, but I'm going to hang in here for you awesome viewers just a little longer. Do you have any questions? Was there anything you missed? Is there a card that you want to know if it arrived? And what are your top favorites? If you've got a favorite card you want to talk about or get my thoughts or the other Twitch chatters' thoughts on, let's hang out for a minute and see if anybody wants to talk some Shadows Oath spoilers with me. If not, I'll head right up and I'll go eat some food. But if anybody's got any questions, get them in there in the next, say, minute. I'll give you about 60 seconds. And man, I can't believe how long he and I just talked. That all originated because I joined his party and he was going off about the cool stuff in the spoiler, and so was I. And I'm like, you know, they just made it so that you can... They just kind of fixed this Twitch thing so that you can broadcast a party. So let's just do it live and see if anybody wants to hang out. And I admit we're at about 20 people now. At the most we were at about 60. It was pretty amazing. So how good is Jace? Which Jace? Where do babies come from? Your mama. And good rundown, thanks Covert. Now that's the kind of comments I like. And alrighty, I'll give you guys another couple seconds on here. But the new Jace is good. It is. If you're asking about the new Jace, Babs, it's very good. You can get the 2 bounces out of it before ticking up, and the scry and then draw makes it a lot better that you can get the cards you want. What's Donald Trump deck? You'll have to ask Peepy. Go follow him. I'll give you a hint. It's all about walls. It's all about building a wall that's going to save our country, our economy, and make Magic Duels great again. That's what it's about. Let's see here. Dun, 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 dun. Oh my gosh, 903. I do need some sustenance. Can he brainstorm for 0 loyalty? Nope, wrong Jace. Sorry, Babs. Now you're going way back. What's the most powerful colors? Green got some awesome creatures in the part of the curve that's the toughest in Duels right now, in my opinion, which is the 2 and 3 drop. So that's really appealing to me. And I think black made a big step forward. Also, I think black's been kind of weak for a long time. But powerful? The most powerful color ain't a color no more, man. It's the Eldrazi. They gave us all the best colorless Eldrazi cards. All the best ones. It's pretty amazing. And I just can't wait to try to figure out what shells go best with the colorless Eldrazi. Alright, guys. I'm going to call it now. I'm going to go watch some TV and eat some dinner. And thank you for hanging out on this marathon Twitch stream. It was so much fun. And tomorrow night, the plan is to have a similar Xbox party here on Twitch live with Hakeem. Hakeem928 is going to join me tomorrow night, and we're just going to talk about all things Duels. You know, what he's going to do with the next set. We're going to talk about the next tournament, Hakumate, that's coming up. We're going to talk about the last one maybe a little for fun. And he's going to be on here. You can ask any kind of questions you want in the chat, and if you ask good questions, I'll relay them to the man himself. Speaking of a question, I got one here. Arkham, do you think any color combo got enough removal to hang with whatever GX combination you chose? Yeah. I think white has some awesome removal, and I think if you combine it with black, it's a lot of awesome removal. So I don't think you can just jam good creatures and hope for the best, because I think black-white can stick with that. I don't think that'll be a big problem. So I think this format's going to need a lot more. It's going to take a lot more finesse than the last one. You can't just jam the best and win. At least that's my hope, and we'll see how that pans out. So Tuesday night, interview with Hakeem right here. Hit that follow button. And Wednesday, probably around 6 p.m., because that's what happened last time this happened, is we're going to have our Shadows and Oath launch party. I'm going to unlock all the cards on day 1, and we're going to start building, and we're going to play until we can't play anymore. So that's the plot for Wednesday. The last time they took the servers down at, I think it's 3 p.m. Universal Time, which is like 11 a.m. my time, they stayed down until about 4 or 5, maybe 6. So sometime late in the afternoon, early evening out here on the East Coast, we're going to start our Twitch party, our Shadows over Innistrad launch party, and we're going to rock it. We're going to go until we can't go no more. Now, I am a 34-year-old guy. My hang juice, as we used to call it back in college, which was the stay up all night, go take a test, go play basketball, stay up all night again. That is not what it used to be, but I know I can make it to like 4 or 5 a.m. I'll hang with it as long as you guys hang with me, and I'm really looking forward to it. So please come back tomorrow night for Hakeem, Wednesday night for the launch party. It's the exciting time in Magic Duels, and I'm just excited. This is going to be the first like Duels release that I'm going to get to share with you guys, my awesome Twitch audience. So thank you so much for being my audience. I can't wait to spend Tuesday night and Wednesday with you. And until then, get some rest, because we're going to be going ham come Wednesday. All right. Good night, guys. Later.